So, Wooly, listen, you're a father now, and you've had a lot on your minds, and I guess there's a part of me that has wanted to protect you from any bad news or anything that might put you in a bad state of mind. But I feel like things have gotten to the point now where I can't really hide this from you anymore. Um, Conor McGregor has withdrawn his candidacy for the Irish president.
No! No! Not...
Yeah.
No,
I
not
know
Conor.
that was the one thing keeping you together, buddy. But
Oh, man.
yeah. And
Ugh.
you know
Who's going
my
to do it now?
I know, I don't know, Willis. Sorry, it's not. I'm just upset, you know. You know my stance on Irish government. I've always felt that this country could be a lot more clownish, and I think with McGregor at the helm, oh buddy, we would have fucking got there.
I mean, did he have to withdraw because he threw a chair at a voter? Or... Or was there an old man somewhere that got punched? I don't know. Whatever the case might be.
So basically in Ireland, you need to get the approval of like four like council members. I'm not sure what the specific titles are. And he attempted to do that. And like 120 council members were like interviewed about it and like polled on it. And one of the responses, there was all like, "No, I would never back him. No, no, no." And then one of them was just like, "Absolutely not." And so a politician said this, and from the women of Ireland, fuck off, Connor.
Yeah, yeah, sounds about right. Yeah, I mean, look, it's gonna maybe it might take some time. I know that there's been multiple professional wrestlers who have become, governors and politicians and stuff like that, right? So it seems like the pipeline might be to become a professional wrestler first and then try to hit that political,
Yeah, so he needs to
corner.
go a few rounds in WWE and win the Intercontinental title in the worst match of all time, and then never lose it because he just leaves the company, and then run to be a politician.
And then run. Yeah. Yeah, that's perfect.
But yeah, that was an interesting little a clown show.
Blip.
A clown show. I don't know how else to describe it. Did you see his tweet of "Your next president"?
No, I didn't.
So the little fucker, he does one of these like a real like tough looking pose, and it says Ireland, your next president. The problem, Wooly, is that he spelt it YOU apostrophe or E. So...
Oh, you couldn't write it.
And look, I feel like if I'm ragging on your spelling, you're in trouble, like that's real bad.
I mean, not the real problem, but just like every time something like this pops up and there's that thought about like, well, that's just insane, but what if, there's that little like, hey, we're already in fucking clown shoes world.
Oh, yeah, no, we are in the clown shoes reality, and I would be completely lying if every time Conor McGregor as Irish president popped up on my feed, there wasn't some small part of me that was like,
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, that's yes, sir. That's a hell of a headline to start with. I didn't realize, but all right. Mm-hmm. We'll try to gather our ourselves together and pick up the pieces from where we left off, as this was originally supposed to be Conor McGregor HQ for knocking on doors.
Well, I don't know what I'm gonna do with the jerseys now, Woolie.
Yeah, we were gonna phone bank so many hours.
Yeah.
Just call it around and yeah.
Wow, Versus Wolves turned into a hard right Irish political podcast, so gradually I barely noticed.
What?
Oh, it's okay. The Irish presidency only lasts like 7 years. So in 7 years, if by some miracle Conor McGregor is still alive, he can try again.
Duly noted. All right. Yeah.
But look, we regroup, we move on. I'm Eyepatch Wolf.
I'm Woolie Versus.
And we are...
Versus Wolves!
Yeah. We're also going to have to just, let go a bunch of interns that have been hired to just walk around with these banners and
Oh yeah, Woolie, I'm gonna say we moved a little quick on this. I think.
Does Ireland have lawn sign wars?
No, we have. So basically, coming up to an election, every politician is allowed to hang their stupid fucking posters from like traffic lights, or not traffic lights, like lampposts.
Okay.
And there are literal lamppost wars, lamppost turf wars for politicians trying to like get their shit up. And then they had to and so previously it would be this thing where politicians would just like after the election they would just leave that shit up. And so they had to introduce fines to make politicians collect all that stuff. And it was it's just look, Woolie, I never want to rag on someone's looks, but, Irish people, in terms of attractiveness, we could be a little hit and miss, okay? But you go to Irish fucking politicians, and they're not an aesthetic people, Woolie. They're not pleasing to the eye.
So, John, you're saying then that you're holding up the average of Ireland? Is that what
I didn't say that. That sounds like you said that, Woolie. Sounds like that was all Woolie, and I didn't say anything, okay?
All right. But it's pretty easy to just look around and be like, hey, if I can see your stupid face after the election season is over on a sign somewhere, that's a pretty good reason to just be like, yeah, that's a fine. Make sure everywhere your face is gone, and then that's it. Very reasonable.
I think that's a good system, but it's always a weird time because you just get these giant fucking Irish faces staring at you like from every 12 feet, and it's odd. But it's what we do. Do you have anything like that in Montreal?
I mean, we have the normal ones. Yeah, we have the stuff hanging from the posts and street lights and things like that. And you don't see them as much, but there are definitely like lawn sign wars. But the lawn sign wars, like, 'cause in America, I've seen tons of Dem signs up and then like Republican signs up, and people are like, kids are going around knocking them over or collecting them and doing all that bullshit or whatever, and sticking up a bunch of them. So you see like 15 of them in a row to be fucking like, you know what I'm about. But the lawn sign wars that we do have here are for real estate agents. And the real estate agents, whenever a real estate agent is selling a house, they put up a sign on the lawn that says, hey, it's me, it's Woolie, and I'm working for Remax, and we're here to sell your house, and call me or whatever, And there will be someone nearby that will also be like, no, don't call them, call me instead, because I'm also selling something on this property, and they're competing with size. In some cases, they're like overlapping each other or like placed on top of each other.
I have seen this in like in American TV shows, and it's one of those many things that just does not exist over here. Like the idea of a local celebrity realtor is just not a thing in Ireland, like at all.
So it's the equivalent of like local celebrity on the billboard over the highway. You know, call this lawyer. This lawyer that works here is like Better Call Saul type.
Yeah,
you know, like, did you injure yourself? No, call me anyway. I'll get you money. Like that type of like fleecing and scammery. But like they're just lining up, you know, everyone's neighbor's doors or so, and just and flyering anyone who's also like, if they sold a house, they're gonna walk by and just let everybody know, hey, sold that house down there just in case, you know. And like they really do set up big signs of them smiling at you, big grinning teeth from across the street at each other, and it's not uncommon to find those things tossed into the road or on a dumpster somewhere and so on. It's all litter, you know. But yes, they get aggressive about it.
What we do get is like a lot of pamphlets as well, like political pamphlets through the door. And after we moved in here, I got one that I was in absolute disbelief about it. It was this guy, and it kind of starts off being like, how can we reestablish a true Ireland? And like when one starts like that, you already know, like, oh, we're going somewhere.
You're using the language. Yep.
And so, you know, I'm reading in, and this person's big problem is divorce. Okay, really upset about divorce. This bald gentleman, and I'm like, okay. So what are we doing? We getting rid of divorce here? What's the platform? And so I turned the page, and he's like, there is only one true solution: the establishment of an Irish monarchy. I took a photo of it, so I bet I have it. I'll send it to you.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like, how do you get there? How is how is this where you ended up, you know?
Oh, know your audience. That's phenomenal.
That man did not get elected.
Oh, boy.
Despite my best efforts, it was just insane.
Some people just need the knee pads. They just need to kneel. They can't imagine a life not kneeling. Like, it's crazy.
This man, the pain of a straight leg is agony to him.
the pain of a straight leg.
It's not his way of being, Woolie.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Well, but then the other side of it is maybe this guy is like 30,000 mile plan is like, okay, we voted in an Irish monarchy, so I mean, who?
Yeah. Anybody wanna?
Who thought it up? Joanne, who thought it up? Oh, it was me. Oh.
Yeah. Would you look at that? Mm-hmm. That's amazing. Yeah. God bless the old bait and switch. You know?
Hey, Woolie, God loves a trier, right?
You gave it a shot. You gave it a good old college try. You know?
Man. So Woolie, you have not had a lot of time for media, but I do believe you've been squeezing a few little things in.
I've been squeezing a few little things in here and there, yes. And some of them are kind of like, okay, look, man, you work and talk into a microphone on the internet about video games. You better fucking touch Silksong, otherwise what are you doing? Mm-hmm. You know? So I played a little bit of Silksong.
So isn't it wild just how massive Silksong is?
In terms of the size of the video game, or in terms of how
popularity?
Big... the popularity has gotten.
Like, I was listening to a podcast, and someone raised the point that by the time all is said and done with Silksong, there's a decent chance Hollow Knight will have sold more than Metroid, period.
Wow. As a franchise, that's crazy.
Yes.
So yes, it is nuts, and I think it's a large part of that has been the buildup of how long it's taken Silksong to come out. You know, that's led to it becoming one of these like legendary development stories where people are memeing it, you know, harder than anything else because they're like, where the fuck is it, right? Game show awards, clown makeup being applied, all that stuff.
Friend of the show, Dan Olsen, had a panel at PAX, which was every time there was a Hollow Knight Silksong hoax.
Oh,
I think people can. I think people can watch that. I think it's on the PAX YouTube.
Yeah, so it certainly has. And the funny part about whenever something gets this big to this in this way is that like this is still a sequel to a very difficult 2D Souls-like platforming game, and it's mean at times and asks the player to, you know, overcome some really steep challenges.
Asks the player to go fuck themselves.
It does. And so it's quite interesting seeing how we're picking up, like in a lot of cases, you know, this was meant to be DLC 3. So in a lot of cases, a game will be like, well, the final DLC is going to be the hardest part of what you've learned on the journey so far. We're going to start here, and then we're going to keep it going so that by the time you're fighting the end of the Elden Ring DLC, that is the hardest boss that's ever existed in a Souls game, right? And you're pushing the limit of what the player can experience because they've beaten everything so far. But this is a whole new sequel starting at that same high of like, no, we're assuming you've beaten Hollow Knight and can do this. But now new people that are like, I don't know what Hollow Knight is, but everyone's talking about it, so let me jump in here, are hitting that rude awakening on what the game is. Totally. It's wild to see it spread and like, you know, word of mouth is traveling, but immediately being met with people complaining about how hard it is and like getting frustrated and rage posting because they kind of like showed up to the line, didn't know what they were lining up for, and you know, it turned out it was Dick's Last Resort. So then when the waiter was rude to them, you know, they were like, hey, that's not what I expected when I lined up for this thing. I didn't really know what was going on, you know? And everyone's like, no, we got in line for the waitress to tell us to fuck off, actually. That's why we're here.
It's interesting, I guess, how, like the map thing has become, like, a conversation again.
Backtracking.
More so that, like, they want you to get lost, and they will give you a functional map. Team Cherry will give you a functional map, but in the most begrudging way possible. Yeah.
You can go no map, right? But in this case, it's like, no, we'll give you one, but we'll give you like the implication of the dotted lines. Okay, when you get to the room, then you can't really see where you are. Okay, if you want to see where you are, you have to spend an item slot.
Okay.
You know?
You want to see where you are, you little fucking baby? Okay. You know what? We're just gonna take. You want that? We're gonna take away something else. You know, it's a real feeling of like Ninja Gaiden Sigma, where you put it on easy and you get a little pink bandage on your arm, and it's like, is this humiliation really necessary?
The wild part, too, is that, like, the way that Team Cherry has been making this have been completely just in a bubble, offline, not really, you know, knowing what's going on online with any of it. So they're just like, I don't know, we just been making what we want to make, and we're making it hard, and we don't care. And like, it is wild because it's like, there's a certain level of, like, okay, you got to communicate with it. And they're just like, nah, we're not gonna. And you're just like, damn, all right.
Yeah. It's interesting seeing, like, I guess the stealth drop as well. Well, it wasn't a true stealth drop, but you know what I mean.
Stealth for 7 years, yes, I would say that, you know, that would count. And like watching every other game clear the way, going, everybody shut up, we can't come out right now.
I did, like, I've kind of gone back and forth in this because part of me just respects the balls of, like, and it's out in 2 weeks. You know, like, I like that. But then there's another part of me that, like, thinks of people who could not move their release date, and like, while I don't think Team Cherry like owes anyone anything, it is just a bit like, I wonder would I feel differently about this if my game were just about to drop. I'm not making a game, just so we're clear.
There's a list of indie games that have all been like, hey guys, we're moving because Skong is dropping. You know, like,
but even there was the
Skong Day's coming.
There was the developer of Hell Is Us, which is a kind of really interesting looking game that I kind of want to check out.
You better prepare yourself for some. Yeah, there's some deep racism going on there.
Oh wait, what? With Hell Is Us?
Yeah.
Are we talking in the fiction of the game or
in the fiction? In the fiction of the game.
Oh, okay.
No. No. Not in development. In terms of in. I
was
the
like,
lore
oh
of the
god,
game.
he's got me. He's finally got me.
No, there's that is not light gaming. That is not a light afternoon. You know.
That's okay. That's look. Sometimes Look, the fact that we're talking about racism means I have no way to finish that sentence.
Okay. Yep.
Yep. You know, just I am okay with games dealing with heavy topics.
Nice escape. Just John with the jetpack flipping over.
John once again roll cancels out of some racism.
All right. But I will say that so far, the Hornet's really fun to play as, and
I love Hornet. She's so fucking cool.
And like you're the whole thing about instead of your old pogo, you've got this new dive kick to worry about, and it's not quite as perfect. It's got a weird angle, and it doesn't go all the way. But you're like, I'm expecting by the time we're finished upgrading this thing to love it.
How sensitive are you to gameplay spoilers?
I'm fine personally for Hollow Knight, and for this, I don't care. That's okay.
So basically, you get like different hunters' marks that slightly make like slight adjustments to Hornet's moveset, but the biggest one is the dive kick. There's like a bunch of different dive kicks.
Nice,
And that dive kick wasn't quite clicking with me. I just feel like the angle was a little strange. I feel like it wasn't going quite far enough, and I have found a different downward attack that feels way more like a smash air down.
Oh, nice. Okay,
and I really like that. That feels good as hell.
No, I mean, in a 2D game, there's a lot of things when you attack and hold down that could be happening. Like, the original Hollow Knight pogo is fun, but I would not be opposed to a nice old helm splitter. You know?
Oh, yep.
There's a couple of different things I'd love to see. So, hell yeah, I love that that's a part of it.
Have you fought Lace yet?
Yes. Yeah,
That's a good-ass fight.
That's fun. Mm-hmm. I appreciate the rival to the rival. We've got a Waluigi now.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. It's one of those things where it's like, oh man, I can't wait to go look up fan art of this boss fight. I bet it's sick.
I'm afraid to see things I don't want to see, but but for the most part,
with Hollow Knight,
there are things sometimes, you know. But for the most part, I'm like, yeah, it's a game that's so like it's very simple in terms of just like the lore is dropped on you. You walk into things, you fight big bosses, and I don't know why, but for some reason, I guess I just don't mind as much, you know. There's sometimes I'm like, I might want to avoid things, but it feels like for the most part, the experiences are. I don't feel that they're ruined by hearing about things that much in the future with this game. I also did feel that Hollow Knight, for me personally, it overstayed its welcome the first time around. So I did not 100% complete the original game.
Oh, I never even touched like the DLC stuff. I pretty much just did like the main campaign.
Okay.
And had a great time with it, but like didn't really feel a need to keep going.
Yeah, I went back for the DLC before this came out in order to kind of get used to things, and so I did like, you know, one of the and it's not all the same. Some of those DLC things are just like general improvements to the game overall, but the Grim Troop one is a nice, really cool one where you go hang out with this kind of like evil circus for a little bit.
Oh, you see, I've never told you this. I have a soft spot for evil circuses.
Oh yeah, do you have something? Yeah, do you? Yeah,
Wow,
you think
that is the last time I ever fucking share anything with you, buddy.
there's an evil clown, and it's a really cool fight. I think you'd enjoy the Grim Troop. It's called the Grim Troop.
Oh, Woolie, where does this mean-spiritedness come from? This is completely unwarranted.
I think it's
look,
just...
I'm just going to say it. Since you become a father, you've become callous. You've become cold.
mean-spirited. Yeah, no. There's times where there's some boxes that get checked that you might not even know are being checked in the game you're playing, you know, and I'd say that's one of those cases.
I think we should go to Gathering of the Juggalos.
Whoop whoop.
Woolie, what would the Patreon stretch goal have to be?
Not much. No, I'll tell you right now.
Okay.
I mean, there is a deep curiosity inside of me that wants to know what it's like to get hit with a fucking Fago cannon, you know?
Mm-hmm. I want to know what it's like to be down with the clown.
See, the only issue is you need to make sure that, like, being down with the clown can be a lot of things. It can be all about family, right? Which is nice if you're one of them and you're down to be close and tight and have a good time.
Okay.
You should probably be also okay with people probably like consuming various types of drugs and be aware of if someone's like if someone's deflating a balloon nearby you, it's probably not just to have a silly voice, you know?
Okay, noted. Not a problem, but I'm glad I have that information.
And also, there has been more than zero famous internet personalities who have been on stage and have had fecal matter flung at them.
Poor Tia Tequila.
So that is there.
Okay. Look, now, Woolie. It is not my goal here to defend the feces flingers, okay?
However, poor feces for what it landed on. I know.
No, that's not. My only point is that if I was organizing Gathering of the Juggalos and someone said to me, "Yeah, we're gonna put Tia Tequila out on stage," my immediate and instant response would be, "Oh, people are gonna fling shit at her."
Yeah.
Like I just like, yeah, no, let's not let that happen. Tia, listen, sorry, dude, you're not going out there because people are gonna shit in their hands and throw it at you, and I don't want that to happen.
Okay.
So
it would have been predictable.
It was. It still is. If you marched her out there again, the same thing would happen. Like, what are we doing? You know, like, what are we doing? So, no, the person should not have done that. But what did we think was going to happen? Gathering of the Juggalos versus Wolves panel is going to be wild.
Do you know how hard it is to wash the shit out of your red armband? It's crazy, John. I'm telling you.
Wait, no, okay. What is this? What? Oh no.
Oh, wait. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but cross the T's.
Oh no! Seriously, Tia, no.
Dot the I's.
Oh,
shave the mustache.
But she was in a reality show where she could choose men or women.
Yeah, so it just sometimes you got to get that OxyClean because it stains the red, and that color is not supposed to run like that. But I mean, it's good luck, Good luck with the laundry.
Okay, look, maybe she did. Okay.
Good luck with the laundry.
Okay. Woolie, this is the second case of racism I've had to escape this episode. I'm tired, dude. I can't. Please help me.
That's all right. Listen, I'm happy to keep you up on all the latest. For example, Batarians. How do you feel about them?
What's a Batarian?
Oh, that's the race that everybody hates in Mass Effect.
Oh,
They're the evil like ones that are basically little demon creatures that everybody's like, yeah, nah, fuck those people, they suck. They traffic and they're awful, and their whole code is to be kidnapping and slavers by culture or whatever. But anyway,
and have we listened to both sides?
Is Mass Effect not an exercise in listening to both sides every time? That's what the whole franchise is about, but not for Batarians, mind you.
So wait, okay, what are the renegade options around Batarian? Like,
honestly,
can Commander Shepard just be like, it's a bold statement. Yeah. Is Commander Shepard like hosting a Joe Rogan-esque podcast with Batarians, just being like, I never thought about it like that.
Listen, you get a gun at one point. We have a whole bit with like this gun that will automatically detect enemies. It just targets whatever's an enemy. And hey, look, if a Batarian is on screen, it just gets automatically targeted. And it's like, it doesn't matter what that Batarian is doing. The gun has determined an enemy has appeared. Okay, doing his taxes. Yeah, that's nice. An enemy is within sights. Pull trigger to dispatch. Anyway, speaking of Mass Effect, there's a little unfinished business from last time, I would say. And I feel as if in discussing the Mass Effect 2 ending, there were many words, there were strong opinions, people had lots of feelings about them, and I think I would like to perhaps clarify a little bit or explain a little bit better what I meant when I said that I thought the way that
the second episode in a row that we've had to do this. Like the kind of, hey guys, that didn't go great.
No. But here's the difference. Okay. I maintain that the ending of Mass Effect 2 is dog shit, and I'm going to double down on why with further elaboration.
Okay.
That's all.
This is gonna go great.
I wanted to, because there was confusion as to what parts I didn't like when I was talking about the hold the line bit and everything with assigning the members of the team to everything. And the way that the game plays out is the ending rather. The first couple choices for who you put into position are all like clear enough. Right? You have somebody that is obviously going to be suited for infiltration that you should pick for those roles. Who's going to be a good leader? Who's good at biotics? Those are all choices that are fairly, if you're paying attention to your team, those are all normal and understandable. And up to that point, the game is also rewarding you for upgrading your ship and having everyone's loyalty high and all that stuff. Whatever, so that's all fine. But the part that I loathed and that ruined everything, that I felt was so awful, was the part where you have to choose who to send back with the civilians to the ship to rescue, who to hold the line with in that last fight, and ultimately who to go into that last battle with, because you don't know what the game is cooking at that point, how much is left, and you don't know how many choices remain, right? So I don't know how well you remember like the way those choices play out towards the end there, but they get really unclear towards the end, the last few. There's a point where I remember thinking like, oh, I'm going to hold on to Morden or Legion as like, what if there's a science expertise check that's going to come up, right? And it didn't. So, but I don't know what the future held at that point. But when you have to send back a bunch of people to a ship that need to be protected, is it unreasonable to think that you should perhaps send back a tough person to ensure that the people escaping are going to be protected and be safe? That's not an unreasonable thing. However, if you did that, you failed. Bad ending. If you decided that, right? If you decided I wanted to bring in the big guns into the final fight of this game, and you wanted to walk with like Garrus on your team or Grunt, you failed. Too bad. You picked bad because you were thinking it might be a final boss that would need guns, and it turns out actually you didn't need anything. All of that stuff, fighting alongside your favorites, bad ending, too bad. And in fact, everything except perfection leads to Morden, the scientist, dying, which is the most important character to go into the next game as well. So none of this is is told you is kind of hinted at before the time in the game. Nothing is in here is kind of explained. These are all hidden mechanics for how many points you get for leaving certain people behind, and it just kind of feels awful because at the end of the day, I remember that part specifically when I was going through it. I'm always prepared in Mass Effect for a tragedy to occur, to lose characters when I make a bad decision, but at that one, it felt like it was robbed from me. You know, unlike the decision with Rex back in the day, unlike the decisions with Ashley and Caden and stuff, where you walk up to the point of choosing essentially how this is going to play out and what tragedy you're willing to accept. This is just hidden from you, hoping that you trip over it and then go, oh no, I can't believe it. Something went wrong. And it's just kind of an artificial failure in a way, to the point where if your shepherd dies, apparently there's a bit where like you can't load your save into the next game with that. So they're even kind of like encouraging you to reload your save at that point. So anyways, I'm rambling, but I wanted to clarify those specific elements of the ending. The parts where you're set to hold the line and who you're carrying in afterwards are horribly designed and made to make you trip up without knowing what you're doing or why, and create a tragedy that doesn't really feel like you're the one responsible for causing it.
So there was a part of me, Woolie, that you mentioned that you wanted to address this, and there's a part of me that wanted to come in here and be like, you motherfucker, the man is tired. Leave him alone. Let him have his Mass Effects. But no, this is exactly what you would say in any... I know that there is no budging you on this.
Nope.
If I could offer how I feel about it, because sure I do actually like completely disagree with you on this whole thing.
Okay.
And what it comes... Now, I don't care. Like, I'm not bothered by the fact that we feel differently about it, but I guess to me it's like I like that mission because it does feel unfair and it is fucked up and you don't know who you're going to lose and you might lose one of your special guys, you know. The way it worked out for me the first time I did it, I lost Jack, and yeah, I watched Jack. I think I have a memory of a bunch of weird space alien flies carrying her away and kind of watching her disappear into the distance and be like, okay. And then other than that, I got pretty much everyone I wanted. I think, no, Morden died and I did save scum that. But I was like, I think tragedy, I think feeling out of control and feeling like you're losing things is an intended part of that mission. I'm not trying to win an argument with you here because how you feel about it's like, it's cool, it's valid, but that is how I would see it.
Yeah, the way that they decide on who's able to make the jump or who isn't is based on their loyalty to you, because then they have whether or not they have enough faith that you're going to make the jump or so, right? Which is, you know... I understand the idea that like things are kind of, you know, there's an element of out of your controlness to things, but in a situation where again like you're following a logic to the game so far, because tragedy occurs in the previous games. Tragedy occurs in Vermeer, and tragedy occurs with Rex and with all the other people that
Never played it.
Okay. Well, that's true.
Well, I got people shitting on me pretty hard for that.
I forgot.
But it's one of those things where like people are like, you should play the first one, and they're totally right, and my only response is, nah.
It just handles it way better, and it makes it clear that what happens is the consequence of your actions, and you're making difficult choices.
Sure, and right? I will play the first one because I do like Mass Effect.
And then the other thing too, I was going to say that they call it the suicide run in Mass Effect 2, and I'm definitely going in prepared for that idea, but I'm prepared for that to be presented in the way that like you're playing a video game, so you're expecting a boss fight, you're expecting these things to kind of play out in these ways where yes, if the whole game did feel like this is Saving Private Ryan in space and you know these things will happen and in this way, that would be one thing, but that's not what it's been, right? That's not how you're still playing a game where you're besides developing relationships with stuff and applying these people, they're asking you in this final test to apply the right person to the right place, and you've done that a bunch of times in a way, and then there's the final part of this thing that it's been asking you about where suddenly the rules change and you don't know what they are, you know? and they don't follow the same logic as what's been happening in the past. There's a smaller.
I don't see that final mission as something. The design intent to me isn't like mastery or victory. You know what I mean?
There's a moment I describe in the. I don't know if I said it last time too, but it does represent a part of the way I feel is like there's a point in one of the DLC missions where you're at a spy like James Bond kind of dinner, and you have to sneak out on a ledge, and you have to sneak back into a building from a different spot, and I got confused standing outside going, I don't know how to get back in. I don't know how to interact with the object. I don't know how to, and it turns out you have to pull your gun out and shoot a glass window to break it open, which there's nowhere in the game ever is there shooting glass as a mechanic, as a concept. It's just not, it's a world where glass is invincible. It's not a thing that the player thinks of as a logical part of this world. It's not introduced in any concept in any way. There's never. So it suddenly breaks the rules and makes the world, just this one part of the world, more realistic for one moment, and expects you to kind of intuit that when the rules of the video game, no matter what, it's not reality, it's a video game, and we do pare down video game logic to, okay, this thing has a walk up to a thing and press A to start interacting with the terminal, to talk to the person, to do whatever, left, right, paragon options, etc. And it asks you to do something completely different that it hasn't put in your brain before that point and hasn't introduced itself as a mechanic. So I hate when things do that, and I feel like this is one of those ambush moments,
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Danganronpa series. Well, I like Danganronpa. I think it's fun. There is nothing more disappointing to me than I feel like there are some cases in Danganronpa where the answer is like, oh, combine these two items, and there's one particular case I'm thinking of, and I don't want to say too much. One of the items is a swimsuit, and it's just like, oh, are you fucking, like, there was no way I was going to reach that logically, and it just, Phoenix Wright does it as well, and it is always really disappointing when that
it's
happens.
Super frustrating. Yeah. What is it? Monkey Island. Put that dog in your pocket. Like, just pick up the whole dog and shove it into your pocket. That's the solution here. Anyway,
now that issue has been resolved and will definitely never come back.
We'll never come back. Everyone has seen and understood and went, thank you for explaining.
90,000 people just went, that's what Woolie meant.
I get it. I understand. Thank you for clarifying. No further discussion on the matter. All good. Please continue.
Woolie, speaking of combining items in occasionally nonsensical manners, I have been playing through Resident Evil Code Veronica X for the PlayStation 2.
Did I ask you why? Why? Why?
I don't know that I have an answer for that, Woolie.
Okay.
I think I just got the old survival horror itch.
Was the Requiem trailer kind of putting you in the mood?
No, I don't connect modern Resident Evil to old Resident Evil. And like I like modern Resident Evil. I liked Resident Evil 8. I thought it was pretty good. Didn't really like 7. But those are different things now. Like, okay. Like that is practically a different series to me.
Okay. Code Veronica X being the re-release that came out after that Dreamcast version.
Correct, you are, Woolie.
Yes.
So I did a little Code Veronica video over on regular Eyepatch Wolf. By the way, everyone, I have like another channel called regular Eyepatch Wolf, and we've been doing little mini video essays over there. We used to do like more Let's Plays. It's been fun. But
John, we said there was some payola involved every time you'd mention your other shit. Anyways, go
on. Code Veronica, Woolie, is one of those games that, like, I am kind of fascinated by it because of its time and place in games history. It's like a weird fucking game because this is like a pre-PS2 but post N64 survival horror. And so the big gimmick with this game is that it has 3D backgrounds.
Yes, yeah.
This was the first Resident Evil without pre-rendered backgrounds.
isn't it baffling to play a shooter before twin sticks let you aim the camera where you need to, right? In a time when like before, like 3D games before Zelda Lock On, pre RE4 sort of camera controls and shooting, where you're just like, there's games where you have to press L1 and R1 to turn your character.
They feel insane. Like,
it's bafflingly nuts with the controls sometimes. Yeah. How does this like deal with all that?
Well, okay, so aside from being 3D, this is still an old school Resident Evil game. This is, default walk speed. Default speed is walk, hold, circle to run, tank controls, ammo limitation. Like
tank controls.
There is nothing about this that is like really mechanically that different from what came before. But what I think I find kind of interesting about it is, do you remember earlier when you were talking about Silksong and specifically the difficulty? Mm-hmm. How Silksong kind of like starts where Hollow Knight ends, or rough, like I'm sure they adjusted it a little, but there's that sense where it's like, okay, you've already played this thing, the next thing is going to be more difficult. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. This game is like that. This is like a weird Resident Evil where they are trying things mechanically that sometimes work and sometimes don't. So like one of the gimmicks of the game is that you can dual wield. There is like a dual wielding mechanic where you can target 2 zombies at once and just blow them away. And because of that, they take way more liberties with just flooding a room full of zombies and being like, deal with it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The problem is that like you can get like 2 dual wield weapons, and once you're out of ammo, they're gone forever.
I was gonna say RE ammo is still RE ammo, right?
Yep, and it still functions like that. And so they have another weapon, the crossbow. And the way the crossbow works is it takes like 12 shots to kill a zombie. So you only use it in scenarios where you are far away from a single zombie and there is not like pressure in your face. And it's so weird, dude. Like it's such a strange game. But like it's kind of fascinating as well, because like the new like liquor enemy, the new hunter enemy is called the Bandersnatch, which is basically this Stretch Armstrong motherfucker. And the way this thing works is it can shoot out its arm and hit you from across a room, which is very unlike how every other mainline like Resident Evil villain works. But what this means is sometimes you will enter a room and be shown a top-down angle of Claire, and then from off-screen, bam! You'll just get...
yeah.
It's just like, it's really silly and weird.
Would you say that it feels like, was this an instrumental step in figuring out how to enter the world of 3D, Like, did Code Veronica walk so that RE4 could run?
No, I don't think so. I think that... So, like, I think technically RE4 and Code Veronica were in development at the same time.
Okay.
But
just different teams.
Or at least, like, the very early stages of RE4. This is more... I guess this is why I find it interesting. Code Veronica is, like, a weird sidestep for Resident Evil as a series, Mm-hmm. And it's like it's strange, and it's nearly like an evolutionary dead end, because this was kind of the last typical like console non like 3DS portable Resident Evil game like this. And I think I have a soft spot for like evolutionary dead ends in series, because like on top of everything else as well, it is the weirdest fucking Resident Evil. Like, the story is insane. You go to this mansion, which is run by these pair of evil twins who are like, I'm gonna like one of them laughs like this. Like, you walk into a room and over a radio he goes, "Welcome, Claire." And then like Claire has this love interest called Steve, and Steve, like, he's a very pretty man, like he's a little twink, but he's the biggest fucking goober. Like, he's such a loser, and he's like, he's such a like, you're pretty good for a girl, like that's his character. And like there's a bit later on, and like Claire is like this really cool, really competent lady, and there's a bit later on where they're like, oh cool, we can escape this horrifying facility if we just move this vehicle into the right spot and drive away. And so Steve gets on the controls and it like smashes into an air vent and poison gas starts escaping, and he's like, oh no, and then he's outside, he's like, it was all my fault, and Claire's like, no it wasn't, and I was like, yes it fucking was, Claire. But like it's goofy and it's fun. I would say like there is some stuff with Alex and Alexis. I don't want to get into spoilers. There's some like shitty like trans trope stuff in there. I really like the characters because I think they're fun, but I think when you take it to like, you know, just trans representation as a whole, some of it does get like a bit shitty. But aside from that, like it is mostly just kind of goofy nonsense. It also has the coolest fucking Wesker in any game. Wesker fucking shows up, Woolie, and you're like, what the fuck? And his eye is glowing red behind the sunglasses. First time they ever did that.
It's the first time.
I could be wrong about that. Actually, I could be wrong. I am no expert on 3. Maybe he appears in that. But it's been really fun, and honestly, like the game is full of like jank and friction. Like this is a game where, you know, journey across the map. Oh shit, that took 10 minutes. Oh shit, I forgot the Valve nub back to the save room, and like that really takes a long time. But I kind of appreciate it as well because it feels like it has real weight to it. Like there's consequence for everything you do. And like I've been playing some other games, like, you know, I kind of shit on Shinobi a little bit, even though I actually do like Shinobi. But like I don't suppose you checked out that Shinobi game at all?
Yeah, I did actually. I mean, that's a quick little side discussion. It feels really, really cool to play, but the enemies are extremely passive and...
Bingo. That's it. I really appreciate so much of what that game is doing. I wish that the combat design was more interesting.
Play Ninja Gaiden Ragebound instead.
I played that as well, and I think it felt worse, but the game design was like better.
The combat is, you can't do as much as you can in Shinobi, but it's a better designed game, and by the end when you get all your abilities, it's great. It's fantastic.
Okay, because I might go back and take another look at it.
But Shinobi feels great right away, you know?
I guess the thing I would say, Silksong kind of best of both worlds.
Of course, yes, definitely. But no, the evolutionary dead end is always a fun concept of like, oh, this is where the franchise could have gone, but then we just stopped right there, you know?
Yeah.
I technically count Mega Man Legends as an evolutionary dead end, you know? Like, they made two of them. They could have kept going.
It has all the hallmarks of an evolutionary dead end where it's like, oh, there's a bunch of weird, interesting stuff here, and we're never going back. You know?
No, and like I love the Mega Man X series, and you know the Zero series is cool. If the world just became like if Sonic and classic Sonic into the newer Sonic is what happened with Mega Man Legends, and like if that just became what Mega Man was, I wouldn't hate that timeline. You know, that would be a lot of fun if there were like a number of Mega Man Legends games and that was just kind of who he became as we went into a 3D world. That would have been totally okay.
I would also say, if you want to talk about goated low poly art, Mega Man Legends fucking rules. Oh my god.
We're still trying to copy that style as much as we can with a bunch of indie games these days, and they look gorgeous. I love it. Every time I see that Jet Set Radio cell shaded beautiful style, I love it.
There's a game out, I think it's out like tomorrow. It's from the people who made Hatoful Boyfriend, and it has that kind of... It looks completely different to Hatoful Boyfriend. It's called like Sushi Zen or something. I'm probably gonna play it on stream. But it has a nice dose of that.
Oh, I mean, so Bomber of Cyberpunk had it, and like there's a game with a trailer I'm thinking of that has a really, really crisp, beautiful style, and I wonder if it's the same. Thing we're thinking of, you know. But in any case, I totally love that style. It would be great. Yeah. Okay, real quick. I also wanted to just touch on now that the 2XKO beta is out and is going to stay out for the foreseeable future until the game fully launches. And I don't know if you've seen the roster in that, but basically they've updated it, and now there's Vi, the big old punch girl with the big old punch fists, and she does a bob and a weave, and she ducks in and she ducks out, and she does a and she does everything but toss a rose at you. And the parts of
Woolie,
me,
I'll be real. I was worried about losing you to your kid. I was very upfront to you about that. This does not bode well.
There's a part of me that has missed Akihiko in Persona 4 Arena for a long time, and we got a little bit of that with the boxer with not the cleric, the monk from DNF Duel. But Vi is so cool into XKO. It's so much fun. She's just a fun boxer that can just rush in, jab, hook, weave, dodge to the side, parry with a little kind of like Dempsey roll into into a guard. And then they put in Blitzcrank, who's a proper grappler and can just toss you around. And they did a really fun thing too by making like his kit have like, it's crazy because it's a one button grab, but it's still like, it still has a like all the technicality of like a Zangief or a Potemkin, but you're doing it off of these one button inputs. You can cancel from a walk into a further reaching grab. You can hold the grab button to have him walk towards you, grapple, like all this real fun stuff. It's a really fun game. It's I'm having a great time with it.
Yeah, I haven't played it, but I have been watching a friend of the channel, Leon Massey's videos on it.
Mm-hmm.
He has another channel called Not Leon Massey or something. Fox, please put that up on screen so people can see what I'm talking about.
Awesome.
But it's interesting. Right now, he is really into King of Fighters 98. And this and nothing else.
Hell yeah, that's great. No, and there's some stuff that's really noteworthy and nice is the fact that if you're having a hard time with a 2v2 sort of system, there's a couple of single player options as well where you can not single player, single character. I meant to say, excuse me.
Yeah.
Juggernaut, where you can play as one strong character and like do stuff that duos can't do.
Oh, okay, because honestly, like that is a kind of system I have just never clicked with, the team battler. I don't know what it is, but there's I think I just love playing one character and and going deep on them, and I don't enjoy like character synergy or assist attacks or anything like that.
Right. So this has a single character version of the game that you can just play, which is our way to play the game, which is the Juggernaut system. And when you pick the Juggernaut system, you pick two characters so that you're playing as one. But if you ever wanted to, for any reason, have a backup between rounds to switch to, you could pull in your backup character just in case you felt like changing. But you're playing as one, and you can hold your own. It's incredibly strong. And if you ever felt like experimenting and starting to get into seeing what it would be like to have two, there's a half and half where you can pick a single character and call in just an assist to help you out for assisting moments that can't be hit or that can't be take damage from you, basically. And it's called Sidekick, and it's still primarily your main, but you have a little partner that jumps in to help you and just introduce that sort of gameplay to the system while focused on your main character. Great design to that, Plus, when you play it as two people, if you're someone that's not as good as fighting games, you can just help your friend who's good at fighting games by jumping in to help them as an assister,
that's fun.
Also, the netcode is flawless. It's the best netcode that's ever been in a fighting game, and I've had zero issues to even speak of. Wow. That's it. Done and done. Yeah.
Okay. No, that sounds great.
Yeah, that's it. Tokusatsu is a lot of fun. Good stuff.
Cool. So before we jump into the next section of our podcast, Woolie, I think there's something I just want to kind of address a little bit, and that's we've been getting questions about going to MAGFEST, and it's understandable. Our smash hit panels last year, the Dokapon incidents, as well as the official Versus Wolves live recording that we did. And I think, we both love MAGFest, and we both love to go to MAGFest, and, like, the staff have been so fucking cool to us, and we're so appreciative of, like, everything that they've kind of done. I think it's just a bit of a weird time right now in terms of, like, Woolie obviously has a kid, but I guess things are a little difficult in the US right now, and I would have to say that the idea of going through a US border does not thrill me right now, and particularly with a social media following, like I just it's just there's a lot of shit out there, and it just feels a little weird. So we're gonna be passing on MAGFest this year. We hope everyone who goes has a fucking phenomenal time. It's a little bit of a heartbreaker that we're not going to be there. This is not us saying we're not going to go again, but it just won't be this year.
Yeah, no, I think as I've been saying before, like, it's like, hey, monitor the situation, see how things go, but from week to week, it's you never know how it's going to be. But even if, regardless of whatever the fuck is happening, I got a goddamn baby, and I got to shove some milk in that baby and make sure that she's doing good. So that is the priority for the time being. So that is stopping me from traveling all kinds of places. Like, there's fighting game tournaments I would have loved to have traveled to and all kinds of other stuff, but everything's on hold for now. And that's going to include MAGFest for this year. Yeah.
Yeah. I would not say that, like, it's not impossible that I end up in America at some point next year, but I think things still feel pretty weird right now. And I think it's just kind of a call that we had to make. It sucks, but yeah.
Well, so stay tuned. We'll let you know when things when we'll be around.
Yeah, we'll be around, and it has been notoriously difficult to cage the Versus Wolves in their home countries.
That is true. Fortunately, there are many places on planet Earth that exist outside of the one we were just talking about. So yeah. Versus Wolves, Madagascar. Are you ready?
Alaska, are you ready?
Well, actually, that's the same thing.
Damn it. Okay, I always forget. Hey, listen, they don't learn about Irish history. I don't learn about American geography, okay? Woolie, you got a little baby, and oh god, I don't know. It's important to support this podcast, help fund that little baby.
It's time for a word from our sponsors. Listen, folks, you have to understand. All right, I need you. I need you to listen up close. Brooklyn betting, okay? I need you to just care so that I may continue to support. Hey, listen, the podcast is sponsored by Brooklyn Betting, all right? And Brooklyn Betting is a company that was started by a man named John, who built his business from the ground up in Arizona, right here in the USA. Listen, folks.
Oh, we're not getting paid for this one.
No, listen. It's shut up. Hey, listen. There's a mattress, and you can get it delivered straight to your door, and the quality of the mattress is phenomenal. You get the tech on how a box can show up, and you're like, okay, that's a box, but like, is a bed in here? And it's like, yes, there literally is, and it's compressed with all kinds of crazy. And you open the box up, and you're like, yeah, you put it in position, and it it just flaws out.
Oh, and is that how all mattresses work?
That's how Brooklyn Betting works, you know?
I guess I've just never really been big on the whole mattress thing, you know?
Well, your back really would prefer if you were.
Oh no, it's cool. I got like a big bag of salt that I just kind of.
A big bag of salt. That's not good, especially because you have a job that involves sitting down and many hours. You need to strengthen your back. You need a soft. You need a box of. You need a mattress that can be delivered that can give you the best night of your life.
You're spitting out some pretty wild things here, Woolie. If I was to try this mattress, where would I go?
Well, brooklynbedding.com and the promo code Wolves will get you 30% off site-wide, and this offer is not available anywhere else. But it's in particular, I got a mattress topper that I put right on top of the bed that I have, and it's a softer memory foam. They've got Glaciotex covers and Copperflex foam to help keep you cool so the bed doesn't get too hot. And just as we have our baby in there and baby's getting a nap inside there, we need naps as well. And getting a nice soft cover to our bed to sleep better is important because we're sleeping less. So the quality of that sleep needs to improve, right? It is nice to be able to make sure that even though I'm getting not as much sleep as I want to, the feeling of the sleep I'm getting is way better than it was. So, there's a ton of different options for you based on the size, the type of sleep. You take the sleep quiz, the Brooklyn Bedding sleep quiz, and you can find the perfect match of what kind of bed suits you, what your options would be, what is right for your type of situation. And you got a 120-night comfort trial as well. So if there's any reason why you don't love it, then you can return it and swap it hassle-free. It's that simple. So you do that, you get your bed, you get comfortable, you just throw out the salt, and most importantly, my child continues to eat.
Which we would like to remind people is not a threat. That is not a threat, okay? Woolie is just thankful
that
the support of our audience is helping provide for his child. This is not an either or.
Go to Brooklyn Bedding.
Thank you, Brooklyn Bedding.
Go to brooklynbedding.com. Use the promo code Wolves at checkout. You're going to get 30% off site-wide, and you can't use that. That's not available anywhere else. One more time, that's brooklynbedding.com. Promo code Wolves for 30% off site-wide. Make sure you enter the show name after checkout so they know that we sent you. One more time, brooklynbedding.com, promo code Wolves. Thank you, Brooklyn Bedding.
Thank you, Brooklyn Bedding.
And this episode of the podcast is sponsored by Rocket Money. Hey, you know what's important when you got to get your finances together because you have a lot of new expenses in the future?
Woolie, I just have a guy that I meet down at the track, and I give this guy money, and he knows that, okay, well, he doesn't win a lot or even like ever, but like he's like a fucking wizard with the. Yeah, I'm in really serious trouble, Woolie.
Over the sound of horses galloping around and the spaghetti sauce dropping on his shirt. There's a guy at the track that can handle your finances. Listen, I would suggest perhaps,
Okay, I'll literally anything, please.
Yeah. Rocket Money is going to help.
Okay.
Rocket Money is going to help you if you can just. Here's the thing. What if that guy at the track that you've been bringing all your money to? What if you forgot about him, right? And he continued to bet on your behalf with your money, but you forgot that he existed, right?
Forget about Timmy Hopscotch.
Well, Timmy Hopscotch has access to your accounts. Why'd you give him access to your accounts, John?
Because if he hears a tip, it's just faster. Look, I'll get him on here. He'll explain it better than I can.
Timmy, can you come down here and get on the... Listen, when you subscribe to online services and you forget about them, it becomes really confusing on how to unsubscribe, much less keep track of where your money is going. Because Timmy Hopscotch, we don't know what he's up to. Did you know that he's not going by that anymore? He's going by Gregory Hippodrome, actually. Gregory's
that's only that's only for his organ donation stuff, which he's actually been kind of honestly like talking me around on.
So the problem with the fact that changing the name of the business that you've subscribed to means you don't even know what you're paying for anymore is also a problem. And that's where Rocket Money can help you keep track of where your automatic deductions and automatic payments and subscriptions are going. And then, of course, when Greg suddenly is not taking out that, couple $100 a week that he promises to pay you back because now he's upped it to a couple thousand, because the price change on the subscription, you didn't even know about it.
Bigger returns at some point, I'm sure.
Clearly. And the problem, so listen, sometimes these subservices will increase the price on you and you won't even know about it. So Rocket Money is going to give you an alert to tell you that, hey, Greg, who used to be Tim, is now taking out more money from your account. Did you know that? You should be aware of that.
Yeah, Michelle's been getting real mad.
It's very important to keep track of.
So I could put my money into. I could keep track of my money with Rocket Money. Okay, that's starting to sound like it makes more sense than what I.
You can keep track of it. You can keep track of what you're subscribed to. It can help you unsubscribe as well from confusing services. So, you're trying to walk away and he's like, I don't know about that. I think I'm going to lock the door before you get out of here because you don't walk away from Timmy so easy.
Yeah, no, he does say that a lot. And it's like, I do want to unsubscribe from his service, but like, he's cost me thousands, but like, I don't want to be rude.
You don't want to be rude. So Rocket Money will walk in there and be like, hey, hands off. And they'll unsubscribe you from the confusing service,
Yeah, no, that'd be good.
And he'll be like, and he'll drop the meatball sub everywhere and he'll get so distracted by it and you can get your money and get out of there. So it's just like the movies, really.
Okay.
Rocket Money can help you show you all the subscriptions you forgot about, and if there's a subscription you no longer want, it can help you cancel it. It's a personal finance app that can cancel those unwanted subscriptions, monitor your spending, help you lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Lots of people have been helped to get away from Timmy's horrible practices.
The Timmy Hopscotches of this world.
The Timmy Hopscotches of this world are out there trying to get you, but 5 million members of Rocket Money have saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving up to $740 a year when they use all the app's premium features. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I'm losing a lot more than that, Woolie.
Yeah.
I'm really not doing so good. This sounds like a great option.
Hey, lose my address, Timmy Hopscotch. That's what I say. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Download the Rocket Money app and enter the show name Versus Wolves in the survey so they know we sent you. Don't wait. Download the Rocket Money app today and tell them you heard about them from this show. And stop going down to the track. I think that's
okay. And it's okay. So no more dog. And the organ harvesting stuff is also a.
Did we not watch the same Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance movie? I thought we watched it. I thought we learned about how the organ harvesting goes.
Okay, understood.
If you find yourself going up a long staircase in an isolated shot in the darkness.
Well, I don't know what he does. Card tricks. They're entertaining. I don't know what you want. Rocketmoney.com. Thank you for the sponsorship.
Thank you. All right. We should take a question.
Why don't we take a question from our lovely patrons who also fund this podcast? Thanks to that Rocket Money sponsorship, I'm not going to spend my patron dollars down at the tracks no more.
Thank you. I put a little label on the milk bottle when I have the breast milk bottle, and I just write Patreon on it so that she knows.
So that she knows. And this would never happen because we have such amazing support. But can you imagine how sad it would be if one day Woolie reaches over to the Patreon bottle and there's nothing in there, and he just turns to Little Punch Girl, and he's just like.
This is too fucked up. We need to stop. There's no milk. The Patreon milk is empty.
Oh, we crossed the line. We crossed the line.
This is dark.
Crossed the line. Yep,
this is very
bad.
dark.
This
All
is
right.
bad.
Listen, folks, we appreciate you. And what do we got today for the question?
So today we got a question from Melosh. Meloshi, perhaps?
Melosh, perhaps?
Hello to the only podcast I've ever backed on Patreon. Thank you, Melosh.
Thank you.
Alpharad? I'm not quite familiar with this person.
Alpha Rad is what it looks like, yeah.
Alpha Rad made a tier list of his feelings on every character he's made in his gaming career. I was curious to how both of your lists would look. Which characters have you clicked with on a spiritual level? Which characters simply got the job done, etc.? Do we want to contain this to fighting games or just characters in general?
I mean, I think I wouldn't mind opening it up in terms of like, what clicks on a spiritual level. I have standout, simple examples. I've talked a lot about it. I mentioned it already in this episode, but Akihiko in Persona 4 Arena is just one of the most fun things I've ever done in a video game. Everything that he does is exactly what I want a character to be able to do. And the options are all there. And I love that, like, he gets more powerful by keeping the momentum going, because my favorite thing in video games is to have a character and increase the momentum. That's why I love Bionic Commando. That's why I love Spider-Man swinging, jetpacks, all that stuff. The feeling of momentum increasing as I play is the best thing about video games. I love it so much. And to be able to then throw that into a nice parry, a defensive option, or a read, or rushing and boxing and dodging and weaving. It's everything I love in one kit. And I've never felt, the joys of a character expressing what I want out of a video game more than that particular character in that particular game.
I like, in terms of fighting games, I love characters that let me have that gotcha moments.
Yeah.
I saw you were gonna, and like, I know that's kind of a lot of characters, but like characters like Hakan's Super 2, where you jump in, you are like, I love that. I really, really love that. I love characters that let me have like big turn the match around moments. I never want to be like chipping away at someone's health. I want to be shaving away a third of their health bar with big slow moves that are hard to land. Like, that is what I love.
I want to feel like Rock Lee taking the weights off on Gara every time I play a game.
Yep.
Right? Coming at you from all sides, bap, 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 which way, Those are really good feelings. What character would you say embraces that the most for you? I have a guess.
Well, I think most grapplers, right?
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
Most grapplers. I'm not even that like well versed in them, but I love playing as oh god damn it, the main guy from Samurai Showdown.
Haomaru, the main guy?
Haomaru. I love playing as Haomaru in Capcom vs SNK 2 purely because of his standing fierce.
Yeah, one button.
Oh, and the animation is so good, and it's incredible.
The sound effect is like
and it's like nearly a third of their health bar just evaporates. So I love that. I like playing Geese. I'm not good as him, but like, that is a really, really fun character.
He's got the like Go, right? He's got the no you don't.
I do really, really enjoy that stuff. Which character were you thinking?
I was gonna say Go Hinogami.
Yes.
Yeah.
Big time. I really love characters like that. In terms of like I guess characters' personalities and stuff, I am always a sucker for like the kind of the Rock Lee, I'm bad at everything else and poured my XP into this. That is never going to be legendary like anything less than legendary to me. And I guess just like I feel like, Woolie, you've been around me in real life. I'm kind of a disaster, kind of can't function properly, but I'm good at like a few specific things, and that's how I've survived.
Yep, I'm going to match that exact feeling. I love the character that always brings the thing that's inferior to the baseline, but they've used that inferior thing long enough and hard enough that they can keep up. So the person who brings the knife to the gunfight is my favorite. The person who brings their fists to the knife fight is my favorite, right? I remember that I had a clear moment in my memory is I'm watching Escaflowne, episode 1, and they introduce these mechs called Guy Malefs, and there's the evil ones fighting against the big hero one and all the different like good guy soldiers, and the robots are fighting, and then an old man named Vargas walks up and unsheaths a giant sword, and he sends his other mechs into battle, but he's on foot cutting robots in half. And I'm like, that guy, the one who's doing the thing that the others that he's like, yeah, I don't have the robot, that's fine, we'll do it without it, you know? Big fan of the person who's showing up with inferior tech but using it so hard that it keeps up.
Escaflowne also just has like some of the sickest mech designs.
Yeah, it's clean. And then I'd also say too as well, like Nero from Devil May Cry spiritually is just, I love playing as him more than anything. I like Dante is the all-in-one. Dante is the Swiss Army knife that can do anything and everything, and you just switch and choose whatever you need to at the time. And, you know, I love everything Virgil encapsulates as the rival, but he's more limited in a way. But to me, Nero and his moveset are like, it's a dedicated specific thing, but I love what it is, you know?
Are we talking specifically 5?
So I actually like 4 a bit more, because I love the snatch, right? I love the button that is, like, I'm not a Swiss Army knife character, but I have a Swiss Army knife button. And that's my arm, the devil bringer, right? If I use it at the right time, I'm going to bring you up to me instead of chasing you down with a stinger. If I use it at the right time, I'm going to knock back your fireball to blow up your whole platoon of angels. Or if I use it at the right time, I'm going to counter that boss's ultimate attack and turn it into a spinning pile driver. But it's a context button for the whole game, you know?
I think Nero in 5 is my favorite, like, character action moveset. I absolutely fucking adore it. And like the whole thing of the disposable arms, and you are basically getting, like, I don't know if it's random, but like you are getting a different arm every time with different applications, and then you use that, switch to the next arm. Okay, how can I use oh my god. And like the fact that, you know, all his attacks are accented with fucking wrestling moves as well.
Yes, yeah.
Like,
You know, also running drop kick taunt, you know, I mean, come on. Like, it's so Nero is a big like resonator for me with this question for sure.
Yeah.
Oh god, max acting, every time you swing your sword, timing the feeling of revving the blade.
So it was only when I started doing Bloody Palace that I was like holding the trigger and doing my other combos, and then right at the end of the combo letting go of the trigger. And I know that went over like 90% of people's heads, but 10% of people are going fucking nuts right now.
It's the best feeling. It's the best feeling of just like hitting something, and in between it, you're just 1-2 perfectly. Yeah.
Melosh, thank you so much. And if you would like to have your questions answered on this here podcast, or on the Intermission Lounge, our secret side podcast that we talk about every episode, you can head on over to Versus Wolves podcast. Patreon.com /
Versus Wolves podcast.
I think that's the first time I've ever fucked it up, and
I think so, but that's okay.
I'm upset. Well, yeah, I've been doing a lot of proofreading. Do you know you can read the same page about 8 times and find different mistakes every time?
Damn, couldn't be me. But hey, I'll pick up the slack here, folks. Yes, that's correct. Patreon.com/Versus Wolves podcast is where you can head. And we'll be answering questions like that, as well as talking about, different media or things that we don't get full time to explore over here on the main episodes. And we've been having a blast with that. Fun stuff cooking in the works right now over there.
We got some special little treats planned for them patrons. Yep. We're mixing it up.
So tune in.
Another little bit of housekeeping just while we're on the subject is YouTube is doing a YouTube, and it looks like there's a whole bunch of stupid bullshit around this new restricted mode.
Who could have seen it coming? This platform that we all trust and upload our content to has made a stupid decision and has trusted AI to make the situation better, but it has made it worse. I could not have foreseen it.
I would like to say that I disavow Woolie's sarcasm and have nothing but respect and admiration for our YouTube overlords.
I literally have been telling people, and like my parents, for example, for years now, like, yeah, this whole YouTube thing, it's wild, it's new, it's crazy, but you never know when they're just going to shit the bed. You never know, stuff like randomly happens where it all breaks overnight because stupid decisions are made. And like, hey, look, here comes one of them.
Mm-hmm. And I guess like there's two sides to this. Number one, you can check your settings and see if you're on restricted mode, because I haven't looked at Versus Wolves personally. Would not be surprised if a bunch of our episodes are kind of thrown into that. And two, again, just want to say thank you to our patrons. The shit that insulates us from garbage like this is your support, and it's what makes doing this podcast such an easy decision, and just we appreciate the hell out of it. That's all. That's all I want to say.
100%. Because quite frankly, I would not want to have to sit here and record this if I couldn't say poopy butts.
Woolie loves his poopy butts, everyone.
That's it. I've been cleaning them.
Important.
I've been cleaning them for a month now. But it's like if you're a podcast that says poopy butts and then the advertisers are like, shut down, no more on that one. The filter has detected the word poopy and the word butts, and now you are filtered out. You cannot be seen by your own subscribers. Fuck off, man.
Yeah. I do think we should probably make more of an effort to kind of steer the podcast in a more like safe for work direction, where we're not talking about anything like upsetting or anything that kind of could cause trouble with that stuff. Anyway, let's move on to the next section. Junji Ito. Oh God! Jeez!
Yeah, gee willikers.
Willie's got a kid to raise. I got this stupid studio I'm putting together, and we're talking about Junji fucking Ito.
All right, let's start there then. I was really curious about, like, I always love finding out about, like, how these masters of horror, like, what's the deal with, why you like this? What happened to you? And it's always fun because Junji Ito, it turns out, again, master of horror, is he's just telling stories about how it's like, when I was a kid, the bathroom near my house, it was an outhouse, and it was all the way down inside at the end of a dark tunnel, and there were crickets on the way to the bathroom. So I put a lot of that feeling in my work.
So Junji Ito is kind of incredible obviously for like a lot of reasons, but one thing that people have done like a lot of like analysis on his work, and like oh, what is he saying with this piece? Like what's the kind of message behind this? And Junji Ito himself has come out repeatedly and been like, there's no message. The balloons, they shoot out a rope and it grabs you, and then it hangs you, and that's
yeah. So I mean, there's two things that I found super interesting about like going through these stories. Is one, I read them, and then I was like, I realized that I had no frame of reference for when Junji Ito's career began and what era he came from, in the sense that, like, I know he's alive because Silent Hills was a project that involved him, so he clearly must be around at the same time as Kojima and Guillermo del Toro. But I have no idea if he's currently an old man at the end of this long career or a young upstart who only began a couple years ago, you know? Because reading his stories, I have no sense of time. They could take place in the 70s or tomorrow.
So, Wooly, there are two type of manga artists, okay? There's what I call the full body casts, who are decrepit, sputtering, and dying as they try and squeeze out their final chapters. Mm-hmm. And then there's the vampires.
Araki
and Junji Ito. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You look at the video of Junji Ito now, and that's just a spry, late middle-aged Japanese man who's doing just fine, despite the fact he has been doing it way longer than that.
But that being said, I was still quite surprised to find out that, like, he started in the late 80s, you know?
Yes. He has been doing this forever.
I would have, but the thing is that, like, I was ready to possibly even go, like, 70s, you know? I had no idea, because his characters and the worlds and the stories taking place are all very timeless. And I love that seems like a deliberate choice, is to, like, they could be taking place at any moment, you know? Mm-hmm. Boy, yeah. This is, there are vibes here. You were just saying, well, one, there's the timeless vampire aspect, and the other is, like, how do you even explain what was going on here? So I picked up, the book Shiver has the vast majority of the stories that you had recommended, and
which was mainly for convenience. Like, I would say we do not need to talk about every story I did. I'm just curious as to which ones stood out to you.
So here's what I'll say about all of them first. Okay. They were all, I love how these are all basically, like, they represent one idea where you're like, oh, wouldn't it be fucked up if this happened?
Yeah,
and then right?
Yeah.
Right? And then it's like, and then what? And it's like, no, and then nothing. That's it. Right? Yeah. And then it ends.
Like, there are barely, like, there are plots in Junji Ito's chapters. There aren't really stories. Like, things happen, but characters don't, like, progress or, like, grow, or, like, there isn't, like, a narrative flow. It's more just that things happen, like, at weird. So maybe we'll get to it later. But did you read Army of Two?
Army of One, yeah,
Army of One, yeah. So Army of One is one of my favorite stories because it is like, this does not mean anything at all, but damn, it's creepy.
It hit, you know? Right? It's super hit, and it's longer than the others, and it goes on for a bit. But, like, that one, the setting is this hikikomori who's shut in, and, you know, you're just kind of like, he's stuck inside, but his classmates are coming through, and you were like, what? Like, it's these stitch murders that keep happening, and they're finding different bodies of people stitched together while the TV is warning people, or it's playing this creepy song, and, you know, about like being an army of ones, everybody get together now, you know, and it's so weird and baffling. But you're like, are you trying to say anything about being solo or you know, depending on others? And it's like, not really. No, it's kind of this fucked up thing.
And just to say, like, I know people are going to be like, well, actually, what that story means is, and it's like, I totally get that you can have interpretations of Junji Ito's story, and that those interpretations can be, like, valid and meaningful and interesting. But what you have to understand, according to the man himself, he is literally just like, well, this would be weird.
Yeah.
You know?
And so one of my favorite things, okay, so, well, while we're just talking about the explanations and stuff like that, one of the coolest things is the fact that, like, in the book particular that I read, Shiver, that has like all the the stories in it. After each one of these anthology entries, there's a little explanation of like what I was thinking at the time, because it was from the past, you know? So he basically just kind of went like, he more or less underlines this idea that like, yeah, no, one day I remember I saw what was it? He's like, let me try to grab it. Like he just saw his sister was like, did you know that when you dream, all the time that takes place in the dream happens all in one moment? And he's like, what? And she's like, yeah, totally. So no matter how long the dream is, it all takes place right away in one moment. And then he's like, oh, that's weird. And then he just started thinking, what if there was a story where like the time that you spent in that dream got longer and longer and longer, you know? And that's it. It's just, and like he just puts that at the end of this, like, wouldn't it be fucked up if this happened? And I loved reading those, right? Getting that little bit of just like, yeah, here's where this fucked up thought randomly came from. And yeah, again, it's not, there's no meaning to interpret here. It's just, whoa, wouldn't that be freaky?
Junji Ito's one-shots are just materialized intrusive thoughts.
And it's so interesting, too, because you're like, yeah, it's all the creative satisfaction of just getting the single idea out there without being, like, boiled down by the rest of what needs to exist in the world, setting, characters, etc. And it's almost like doing what like a slice of life book chapter would be, of just like, oh, and then just something happens and that's it and we're out, you know? And it's in anthology storytelling. There are stories that end in the middle of the action, you know? The supermodel, fashion model.
Yes. Fashion model is one of my favorites.
It just has, you know, this insanely creepy shark lady that's like a super pretty that is taken treatment as a super pretty fashion model. Like it ends in the middle of the action where she starts being a shark lady.
Yeah, but it's nearly like there and like this isn't with all Junji Ito story. I have read a lot of Junji, not all of it because I don't know that that's possible. Okay, but like a lot. And I do really appreciate sometimes where it nearly hits this point and he's nearly like, yeah, and then she eats him. Like, you know, that's what happens. I don't need to draw it.
Yeah. The implication of some of these final panels is always just kind of like, and then the world was fucked up, right? Like, so, you know, standouts, like one of the ones I loved the most. I mean, we already touched on it, but, Army of One was really fun and fucked because they were just like, so, okay, at first you're like, we've got this horrible serial murderer case going on and oh my God, they did that to so many people. Like, never mind Human Centipede, right? Then look at this. Right, you pulled this off this insanely gruesome scene.
The human Katamari ball.
Right. And
so just I guess just to spell it out like a little more basically, yeah, Hikikomori is like alone in his apartment and these murders start coming in from around town of like where they find people stitched together and they're naked people, aren't they? Yeah,
they're naked and their various body parts are like it's attached with thread and like there's parts of their faces that are like split open and pulling and attached to other people. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's a really, I think, really creepy jump in that story where you start to realize that, like, oh, no one person could be doing this because you are getting, like, 30 or 40 people being sewed together.
That's the part, right? It's each time they find a new body, it's way more people than last time. And it doesn't make any sense, you know?
No.
And they're also, and it's not just that, but they're also, like, the first couple is, like, this 2 people, a couple that are stitched together. And then it's, like, 5 people, and they're kind of wrapped around, you know, each other in the forest. And then it goes further and further until you have these elaborate, like, insane displays that it ultimately, like, leads up to like 500 people on Christmas Eve are all outside, stitched together, over a Christmas tree, along a wall decoration, in a spiral formation on the ground, on the snow, like in like this insanely elaborate way where you're like, oh, this can't possibly be a serial killer or you're like, this is some kind of monster that can instantly do, but no, like, it doesn't make any sense how this many people, the amount, and like, that's the part too that really makes it unsettling, is like, if a group of 500 people you'd think would be enough to deal with any threat, no matter what it is, and they're all dead in the same way, and you're like, it just doesn't, your brain can't wrap its head around how, and and then sure enough, right? Yeah, that's the other thing, is like these stories are willing to go. So then the world was super fucked up, right? Like the entire concept of life is now no longer what it is. We can treat these stories as like small town horror that nobody ever learns about, or potentially apocalyptic. And in this case, it is apocalyptic. And, as time goes by and like life is different and people have to stay away from each other because you never know when this is going to happen, you just get this really great moment of like a main character who like makes his way outside and is willing to risk it all, coming across essentially the culprit and some victims, and seeing the scene unfold. But like the twist of like the whodunit and how and so on is not really as much of a punch. It's a pretty like, oh my god, that's fucked up.
So when I read it originally, I was like, oh, this sucks. Like, it's basically he stumbles across the girl he likes sewing two people together.
Yeah.
Which answers nothing.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely nothing. But I think the reason I came around on it, and the reason I kind of get like a little bit of an extra kick on this chapter, is because I feel like, imagine reading that in front of Junji Ito and getting to that last page and looking at him and being like, but that doesn't make any sense. And I feel like his immediate response would be, but wasn't that fucked up though?
Yes, but here's the thing. But there's something that happens right after he sees her, and that is what stuck with me the most and made me love the story and gave me the explanation I was kind of waiting for in a way, right? Throughout the story, you see after they find these bodies, a weird plane flies by and drops a bunch of flyers on everybody. And the flyers all say, our army of one, come on, everybody, together, all together now, right? And it's these creepy flyers just advertising the murders, basically. And playing this the idea and referencing the song that this main character has been hearing. And in the last shot, when the world is all fucked, it's like the plane flies over, drops all the flyers, and then you see the main character looks up and like they deploy jets to go after it. And you see 3 fighter jets chasing after this evil plane that has been, clearly attached to all these murders. And then the main character is like, yeah, okay, we're fighting back. We're going to do something about it. And then he runs up to go see the girl, sees the girl stitching the bodies together and goes, oh, what the fuck? And then it cuts back to the fighter jets chasing after the plane, and they're all dropping flyers too. And the fact that the fighter jets that are chasing after this thing are now a part of the system, or you're like, oh, that, like, we're just beyond fucked at this point. It's like it reaches that great. Far,
So this kind of touches on something I kind of like love about Junji Ito's horror. Like, Junji Ito, like, he clearly borrows from like cosmic horror, like Lovecraft and all that kind of stuff. But I feel like a lot of his horror is a little more intimate and like take the fashion model, and the way I like to describe it is that it's this unfair, no rules, inescapable horror. And so, and like in the fashion model, it's this film student and he is flipping through a magazine and he finds a photo of a fashion model in this magazine. And she just looks so fucking strange. Like she has this really long face and these really like dark eyes and this
Nosferatu.
Nose.
Yeah.
But Nosferatu in a way that only works because Junji Ito is such a fucking master of like making unsettling imagery.
Yeah.
And he cannot get this picture of this woman out of his head. And he's like freaked out, and it's weeks later and he's trying to forget it. And then like he's in film school and he puts out a call for like actors to be in his new movie. And he gets a photo from this woman, and it's like, oh my god, this is a fucking like.
Yeah.
There's like narratively, there's nothing going on here, but this is a nightmare.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. I love,
and so
that's,
then, and all his friends just like, well, we got to cast her. I mean, she's so distinct looking. And
Yeah,
it's like, no, stop.
And the thing is too is like this is one of those stories where like time passes, years pass, and the horror continues. You know, I love that idea too of just like sometimes this is something that happened a while ago and you kind of forgot about it, but then it came back a long time later. You know?
Yeah, and I guess like there's so many of the stories where it's like you're not even going to do anything wrong.
That's it. Yeah,
you're just a normal person. And some horrifying thing is going to creep out of some completely unknowable part of the world and ruin your life.
So I'm going to say like about a third of the stories involve somebody being like affected by something they see or panicking in some way, and like in a moment of shock and whatever emotional explosiveness, they inadvertently kill somebody, right? There's that moment of like used record where it's like, give me that record, I have to hear it. These friends are listening to this song and they can't get it out of their heads. It's the ones, if they don't know what the record is, they can't tell where it comes from. It's an unlabeled vinyl, and and one of the girls is like, I have to have this record, and she steals it. And then the other friend is chasing her back to get it, and then they fight over it, and then she just hits her with a rock and kills her, you know? And it's like with those types of moments of like, oh, you just started down the path of this horrible decision you've made. But in some ways, these moments are kind of like, yeah, but this music worked its way into your brain and already started messing with you, you know?
Yeah.
And then there's other characters who just wake up one day and the world says, nah, fuck you though. You know?
Yeah. Hey, life's been too easy and that's about to end. And a lot of the time, like I guess I've never really encountered this too much, but one of the kind of things I have with horror is, to me, explaining the ghost never increases the horror. It never makes the horror more effective. And like, I really can't stand when I get to the last 20 minutes of a horror film and it's like, I found this old scrapbook and it turns out the little girl from the blah blah, and if we bring her back, the blah blah blah. Like, I don't like when horror is a puzzle. I like when horror feels like horror. And one of my favorite examples in Shiver is hanging balloons.
I was about to bring up hanging balloons. Yes, yeah. This is because, excuse me, hanging balloons feels like I just watched a movie. In terms of like, it starts with just this really like a famous model, a famous actress dies, you know, looks like suicide, and it starts affecting the town. And everybody's
hung herself in front of the whole town, and everyone's really upset.
Right, big public moment, and everyone's upset, and her ex is like haunted by it, and you know, and you're just seeing it like how it affects these people's lives. But it then it's like, and you're setting up your expectation for like, okay, she will now haunt people, or there will be something about her death that will come back and, you know, become sort of this like evil spirit or so, or whatever the case is. And it's like, nah, actually, like, it's way bigger than that, and you're never gonna guess where it's going, you know? the idea of like seeing this ghost balloon, this ghost of her head, but it's not a ghost.
People start seeing a giant disembodied version of her head floating around town,
and it's not a ghost. It's just her head physically like floating around, you know. And then slowly they start to like see more and more sightings of it, and then at one point, like her ex and the main character, this other girl, are like they come across each other and they see it together, and the ex-boyfriend of the dead girl like gets up in a tree and tries to go after her, and then a noose just comes out of nowhere, and he leans into the noose, and then he's now hung himself. And other people in the story that were also fans of this girl also started hanging themselves, right? It establishes a wave of despair, and a number of people started hanging themselves and disappearing because this influential person did it first. But this, you watch it happen with this dude, and then it like all of a sudden the trees move aside, and then the noose is attached to a giant head of his. And that head is now hanging him from it, and it floats up to the girl, and they're kind of like moving in to kiss each other, and you're like, what?
I think it's one of those absolutely perfect moments of horror and absurdity meeting at like the exact balance, because it's so fucked up.
And it also is it. I didn't. Like, I can see the same ingredients of how he came up with the Amigara fault that apply here, where it's like, what if there was this insanely creepy, fucked up, like, giant head monster of you that looked and sounded like you, and it was only out to get you? And
so that's the big reveal with this story. You turn the page, or you turn a couple of pages, and the sky is filled with these creepy balloon heads with nooses hanging from them. And each one of them, like, there's such a great shot when it's the four girls just like watching these four balloons off in the distance get closer and closer. And they're like, is it some kind of weather balloon? And then it's like each one of their faces.
Right. And then it comes after you aggressively and can throw the noose out in your direction. So like now you're just running from this existential threat that's like, oh yeah, the whole world is out there looking after, they're being hunted down by their balloon creatures, you know?
Yeah, there's points after that where the sky is literally filled with balloons.
And we do the thing we talk about where it's like, and then time passes and the world is fucked, and now life is just surviving these things. And you know, you have these things where it's like her mom just gave into despair, couldn't handle it. Her dad said he had to go to work, and he just kind of tried to run through it, and then
he was a bit of a dumb fuck, like that dude. Well, he was just like, I'll just guard myself like this.
And this is where you can see Junji having fun, where he's like,
totally.
You're like, what if you just protected your neck so that it couldn't get around your neck? And then the noose just wraps around his body and squeezes him and pulls him away. You're like, okay, you know?
Yeah.
And I would say to the one where there's one where they shoot one of the balloons that comes after her
That's
friends.
my favorite page in the whole thing, because it's just, okay, so it's completely hopeless. There's nothing we can do. The brother shoots one of the balloons that's coming after her friends.
A random guy leans out a window with a crossbow.
Oh, yeah. And then it punctures the balloon, and then she's like, oh, we did it! We can fight back against them! And she turns to her friend, and her friend's face is like punctured, but like deflating in the same way as the balloon.
It's like the air being let out of the balloon is now happening to the person's head, and her head deflates and she just falls over. Horrifying, you know? And yeah, like you just get that bit where like her brother kind of ran off and he used his umbrella to like distract his, and like it swallows the umbrella instead of him, and he gets away, you know, and for like a week they don't know where he is. And then, yeah, sure enough, he comes back when he went to go get food. And you get your stinger of like the girl opening up the window and he's hanging with the umbrella from his own balloon monster, and then hers is like, thanks for opening the window, you know?
Yeah, and just, oh my god, it's to me, like, that is like a legendary piece of horror, that chapter. It's so good and it's so frightening, and it's like Junji Ito has a few of them. Like, I'm not going to say that's better than Amigara Faults, but like it's like that level, right?
Yeah, no, because it's fantastic because while there's that personalized horror element to it, like Amigara Fault, it starts with a complete red herring. You know, you're on a completely different place with the original small town hanging story. And then, yeah, you just get the little blurb at the end where he's like, yeah, when I was little, I had a dream where I imagined a torso of a woman made of clay had a rope dangling from it and it hanged me by the neck. And I was like, damn, that's creepy. What if that happened to everybody?
And it's kind of my go-to for one where it's like, you can't add anything to this story to make it more creepy. Like, if you add, like, an explanation for the hanging balloons, like, oh, they're actually from this weird planet and they need resources for their space. It's like,
shut up, stop it, fuck off.
And it's interesting because there is actually a second hanging balloon story called Return of the Hanging Balloons.
Okay.
And it doesn't do a lot of explanation, but it does a little, and it shows a way to kill the balloons. And honestly, like, it's not great, but also, like, it adds nothing to the original story, you know.
Yeah, and I also love that he included in this collection basically his napkin notes, so you can look and see his little, like, doodles where the thought process for these stories is exactly as we're describing them, and he'll have things like just be like, suddenly, not sure why, but shot of sky with many of the balloons, an overwhelming, terrifying amount. You know, no idea how we got there or why or what, but just, you know, he just kind of goes like, just ideas of these things, like, what if this, and then that? Oh, you know, and that's the end of the thought, and then he just draws it.
And, like, it's not, like, great writing, but it is so, like, creatively free.
Yes, and none of this would work anywhere near as well if he weren't as compelling an artist and storyteller, where, like, he can make these loose notes for himself, but then convert them in the final product into exactly the beats that you need to feel unsettled, you know?
Yeah, and, like, you know, part of what helps as well is the dude is just, he's a master at manga in that he is a master at laying out a page and timing it all just right, and then you turn the page and reveal the fucking horrible thing that you're looking at on the next page, you know?
So, yeah, I really liked the food for thought that comes from, like, what happens if a dream ages you, you know? And the long dream is just this doctor that is at a hospital with, you know, patients that are suffering, and one patient is coming in, and every night his dreams are getting longer and longer, and at some point it goes from lasting a full day to months to a year, and then the next night, you know, he wakes up and is like, doctor, I feel like I've lived a year since I saw you yesterday, you know? And it's taking its toll on him, and he's starting to, like, just get super messed up by it. And, like, what does that mean? And then the next night, it's like 10 years have passed. And, like, the doctor is also this, like, person who's, like, he's curious about it. And he's got that, like, I want to help, but I'm also more interested in, like, what's going to happen. And you've got that, oh no, you've got the mad scientist energy in you where you're kind of willing to let it rock. You know, and, like, what happens if the dream lasts an eternity, you know? And you just overnight, like, this dude starts just becoming a creature. Like, you start to look more and more like almost like a plant, like, fish creature, like an like an Innsmouth, you know, type of thing.
And I love it because it's kind of like, okay, when we get old, we die, and so the aging process stops. But with this dude, because it's a dream, the aging process never stops, and he keeps going and just becomes something completely different.
Yeah, it's a proper like metamorphosis into nightmare fuel, you know. But what a concept, you know, and then getting the idea where it's like, yeah, his sister told him this crazy shit once, and that just stuck with him forever, you know. One of the ones too, as well. So Greased is just like, you want to talk about characters that did nothing to deserve this horrible outcome or fate. This poor girl just lives in a house above her dad's.
She was just born, Woolie.
That's it. Her family, her dad is a yakiniku restaurant owner, and they live above the barbecue restaurant. So all their house all day is filled with barbecue grease from the cooking, and it fills the walls up, and it fills the tatami that they sleep on, and every part of every aspect of their life is just greasy. And she feels it on her skin. And then she's got a brother who is also greased up, but the brother loves it, and she catches her brother, like her dad is this greasy man and they can't ever wash it off. And the oil index, she starts counting in her head an imaginary oil index that increases. And you're depicting grease and oil coming off of surfaces that it should not be on. If you've ever been in too dirty of a hoarder room or something like that, it's everywhere. But then it's not enough for that to be the case. Her brother, she starts catching him sneaking into the kitchen and chugging oil as well.
Yep.
He needs it to be inside as well as outside, and it's just, this horrifying thing of as he chugs the oil, his life gets all more fucked up because he starts getting pimples, and then the pimples he gets made fun of. So then he as he's getting teased, he decides, I'm fuck you guys, I'm gonna stay home and just drink oil all day. And then he gets more and more pimply, and then there's the shot, right? All the oils and all the pimples are full of pus, and he starts squirting the pus at his sister because he's a mean brother that's picking on her.
When we say squirting, we don't mean like a tee-hee. He's squeezing his face, and all the pimples are Yeah, I'm not going to describe it any further than that.
One, at first he was squeezing them one at a time, and then eventually he squeezes all of them at the same time, and it's nightmare. It's nightmare fuel, and it's you can 100% go, oh, Junji Ito thought of that, and then said, let's make a whole thing around this moment. Mm-hmm. This moment that'll never leave you. And then sure enough, you also are and while we're at it, we got a subplot of this crazy dad that's never had a problem with all this grease. He loves it, in fact, is okay, well, now we got to take care of the problem with this crazy brother. And he knocks him out, and then all of a sudden the customers downstairs are eating the tastiest yakiniku they've ever had,
Mm-hmm.
But that whole thing is just based on a feeling of ooh, greasy surfaces. But then he also goes on to describe, he's but then I had some childhood stuff where I had pimples and they were gross and other stuff. He's sorry for reading this, everybody. I really just, a lot of stuff came out this time, and I just put it all together in the same story. My bad. It's great. It's great.
So while I was doing some research, I picked up some of the newer Junji Ito stories, and I wanted to tell you about one of them because it is just one of the maddest fucking things I've ever read. Oh, sorry, it's called Black Paradox.
Okay.
So Black Paradox is about 4 people, right? And immediately it's very dark because they want to meet up to commit suicide. They're one of these suicide groups. And so, they're kind of all, it's 2 girls and 2 guys, and they're kind of riding in a car, and they're all so why don't we all explain why we want to do it? And so the guy goes first, and he's okay, well, for me, this weird thing's been happening me where I have been seeing a doppelganger of myself, an evil smoke doppelganger, and he just keeps following me everywhere, and I get the feeling he's going to do something really bad, so I want to do it before he can do anything. And then the next guy is oh, that's actually really weird because I also have a doppelganger story, but it's a bit different. You see, I work in robotics, and we've recently built the most advanced robot known to man, but we had to base it off a person, and I won the lottery to who we'd base it off, and so the robot is based off me, but it's like really smart and strong and can do everything I can't do. And this is really fucked up panel where he's just in the foreground looking sad, and his colleagues are all in the background with the naked robot who just has its dick out. And then one of the women is like, "Oh, that's weird. I have a doppelganger story." The right side of my face, she has hair over it, is super fucked up. And so whenever I look in the mirror and see my face, it really upsets me because I'm so hideous. Like, she's got like some kind of, deformation. And then the final girl, who's the protagonist, is like, "Oh, that's weird. I don't have any doppelganger story at all." And so then anyway, they're kind of stopping the car later, and her and the guy with the shadow doppelganger, the guy with the shadow doppelganger is like, "I think there's something weird going on here. Every time that guy moves, I can hear like engines and like the like chugging and whirring. I don't think that's the guy. I think that's the robot." And so then she's driving along, right? And she's looking at the woman in the mirror, and she's like, "Wait a minute. She said it was the right side of her face, but it's actually the left side. Is she the reflection?" And then another car drives past them, and she looks in the window, and it's the three people that she was meant to meet, and she realizes that she's in the car with the doppelgangers.
Wow. That's amazing.
Woolie, imagine if your brain worked like that. Imagine if you could think of stuff like that. It's so
Holy
great.
shit,
It's
what a
so
twist.
Good.
Like 4 unique self-contained horror stories coming together for this one. Yeah.
Yeah, and Woolie, this is chapter 1 of 4.
Oh, wow. That's great.
It's
Cabin in the Woods
awesome.
shit.
Yeah, just like what an absolute insane just
So I wanted to also just there's 2 things I want to say as well about the rest of this too, is that with there was moments where, because you just also like reading this, it's interesting how like reading a bunch of horror straight through, like things hit differently when you're almost not getting desensitized, but just like I've just read these stories about this insane like woman that's obsessed with dissection and wants to be self-dissected.
Oh, dissection girl, yeah.
Right, and then like with her organs and all the horror, right, all that stuff. So there's these moments where when it pulls back a little bit, I'm reading The Human Chair, and The Human Chair is about a writer who needs to use this chair that's this big elaborate like chaise, and there may or may not be a person living inside of it. Right? And like it's so creepy and weird. And like you're also imagining like, oh yeah, an artist needs a chair. I can understand how this relationship would come from this type of story. But you're like, there's moments of that where it's like it's almost touching, where there's like, like essentially like she goes kind of nuts, and as you can expect, like the idea of there being a person inside the chair, but you don't know for sure, and then her life like she like her ability to write is like, she gets second place to like a manuscript by the chairperson, and you kind of just go on to this point where eventually when she loses it all and like the chairman is kind of like, you need me and I need you, she just kind of is like, yeah, I guess so. And years later, they open up a chair and you see the two of them inside the chair mechanisms sitting down together, and their hands are kind of like this, and it's almost like, oh, they found each other in this horrifying way.
Sometimes I feel like Junji Ito is such a pure and great artist that he just completely naturally back-ass stumbles his way into oddly profound and touching moments. And they're rare, but they're there. I want to show you my favorite Junji Ito panel, Woolie. I love this panel so much. I actually have it tattooed on my leg. This is from one of the Tomie stories, and it is Tomie facing out towards the ocean.
Ah, okay, yeah.
And so I think you read one Tomie story, The Painter.
Yes, the painter that goes crazy trying to draw her. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, and like Tomie is one of like the recurring characters in Junji Ito stuff, and she is this demon girl who tends to get murdered horrifically and then come back as these just diabolical monstrosities. And in this panel, it's just this panel of her facing the ocean. And the way she's standing, like there's something like not right about it. Like it doesn't feel beautiful. It feels kind of frightening and unsettling, and I'm sure part of that's the way Junji Ito's done the background. And but it's like she's this demon, this horrifying creature, but it's like in this moment she's kind of seeing the ocean, and it's like there's for the first time, and it's like there's a kind of innocence to it, and it's like kind of sad because it's like, man, she's evil, but she also doesn't know what she is. You know, she doesn't know anything, you know, and it's kind of, I think it's really beautiful.
Interesting, because I had no idea about the Tomie, like series before, and then I went to go see afterwards that like, okay, so there's that series, there's Gyo, which is the fish stuff, which makes sense with the Eldritch Lovecraftian horror, right? Everything fish and Innsmouth related, and then there's Uzumaki, and do you know what's crazy? So this is your favorite Junji Ito panel, right?
Yep.
Do you want to see what my favorite panel was from this entire experience?
Hit me.
This one.
Huh.
Look at the pose. Look at the setting.
You and I, we're not so different after all.
So the first page of Uzumaki Volume 1 hit so hard because I saw, look at the difference between the short stories and Uzumaki is like, look at the technical art and effort going into some of these pages, right? Uzumaki, by contrast, is to these short stories, which it also happens, I'm sure, a bit later in his career, is like, I am flexing with the way I can work spirals into the scene, with the beauty of the background, the colors, everything here. And this image of the girl staring out into the distance is not identical, but it has the same energy and pose.
I can't believe, that's so wild.
Of what you just said.
I remember we have a lot of overlap. We're very different people, but there's also a lot of overlap. And I remember one time I told Michelle how my game name back in the day, back when I was a kid, was Blade. And then I found out yours was Blaze.
Yes.
I told Michelle that, and I swear to God, she just goes like this. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm going to show her this, and we're getting the same reaction.
Yeah. I completely I love it, and I just know I was going to bring up Uzumaki.
You should get it tattooed on your leg.
Yeah, I have room. I've got room. I do, but I do feel like so Uzumaki is phenomenal, and yes, I did a while ago watch that first episode of it, and man, what a tragedy with the Adult Swim adaptation.
I choose to look at it as like, look, we got one amazing episode of Junji Ito anime.
Yep.
I can die happy.
Proof of concept, right? Successful. They got the proof that this can be done, but you just need to leave them alone and not mess with the production. But the idea but there's also, I just love though that like after reading these, fairly expressive short stories that are all, they're like Ren and Stimpy-esque, where you're where you have the like fairly normal manga panel, and then the horror has so much detail put into it. The parts that need to stand out to you are really, really high contrast and incredibly in depth, because the rest of the world can be pulled back a layer and almost a little more bland. Characters and hairstyles and everything happening is a little more bland.
No one really has a character design.
They just kind of wear clothes, and they've got, there's a couple of characters that are like, they got, here's like 5 different kind of guys with like older haircuts from the 90s, and that's it, but it makes those proper horror moments stand out and fill in with detail and color. And yeah, Uzumaki is like the first examples I'm seeing of like the flex is applying to like the detail of the world, because the whole city needs to feel eerie, and so we're going to apply a lot of that amazing spiral detail to background elements and the grass blades and all that vagabond shit that gets me excited, So really liked that aspect of Uzumaki upon revisiting the manga and for this Junji Ito-a-thon.
Excellent.
So much fun with this, and
I'm really glad you enjoyed it. I honestly, I didn't think this would go down quite so well. I was expecting to have to justify more shit here. Yeah,
no, I love the unexpected elements of it. I love anthologies in general. I love when stories are like short and sweet, and it's an idea, getting off the creator's chest, and I really love when things get into it. It's not just the vibe of the zombie, ghost, or monster, or the rules of it per se, but when it's just like, I can't even begin to fathom how or why this creature exists, or like just getting out there into like it's the ideas are staying with you more than the threat of the monster, or whatever the thing is. The idea of the infinite dream,
Yes. Yep.
The idea of the song that is sung after death, these things are like little brain worms that's, you kind of like go like, yeah, what would that be like? And it reminds me of what I enjoyed about some of the ways that the Peele movies brought like social horror to the forefront of,
Yeah, and like I would say especially in Us, I feel like that is the final shots of Us are a Junji Ito story.
So I would say that Get Out is a perfect like, this is horror in on a subject that you would not imagine applying this weird social race horror thing. And then Us is getting into this, like, what if we go apocalyptic with it, And then, of course, Nope with just Nope, and the similarity between some of the stories we talked about today is also very high, right? The threat in Nope and, like, hanging balloons and stuff is like, I'm like, we're absolutely scratching that similar itch and terror. So, yeah, definitely lands. Really, really enjoyed this selection of stories, and even for the ones where it didn't land as well, it's still like fun to talk about, Honored Ancestors, where you're just like, what the fuck is this caterpillar thing? Oh, it's a caterpillar. Okay, those are creepy. It's not a caterpillar.
Yep. Okay, so Woolie, listen. I'm gonna do a first here on Versus Wolves, and I'm glad Junji Ito went down well. I'm going to recommend you one more single chapter Junji Ito story for next month, because it's Halloween and I wanted you to have something a little spooky.
Okay.
I want to recommend
DLC.
This is DLC. You don't have to read this. Our viewers don't have to read it.
Yeah.
This is my favorite Junji Ito story.
Don't even disclaim that. You know that I have to.
Okay. This is my favorite one. I don't think it's as interesting or impressive as some of his other stories, but it is the one that rustles my jimmies the most. And it's called The Neighbor's Window.
Okay.
Enjoy. It'll take you like 5 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. The neighbor's window. Cool.
Woolie, we gotta rank Junji Ito.
This up-and-comer.
You know what? Him and the vagabond guy, I'm gonna say it, Woolie. Seeing bright things.
Promising future for a young Ito-san. Sensei. Ito Sensei. Alrighty. I'm gonna go ahead and say that, like, I bet you if we asked Junji Ito himself, he would love to live in the Valley of the Wretched.
He would absolutely.
He would ask if he could draw it,
Yep.
in detail, but way above the field of competence. I believe we travel up the cloud path.
Holy that's okay, cool. So I guess that lands us directly on Invincible Season 1 to 3. Does Junji Ito beat Invincible Season 1 to 3?
Yes.
Okay. Does Junji Ito beat Kill 6 Billion Demons?
Now, the funny part about this is we can imagine what the creator of Kill 6 Billion Demons, Tom, would feel about having this type of comparison point made.
Mm-hmm.
However, here's the thing. I know how much horror is your shit, and I know where it is for me it's a curiosity that gets piqued every now and then. So, as the average works out, when I think about some of this stuff, I'm going to also include Amigara Fault, which I remember being super like, what the fuck was that when I first read it, when I didn't even know anything about Junji Ito. And I'm including Uzumaki and all, just the full encapsulation of this. Yeah, I think Junji Ito goes.
Okay. I'm shocked. I'm happy. That's awesome. There's something in my brain every time we have to like rank something against this next one. Does Junji Ito beat Dokapon Kingdom? I know which way I'm leaning.
I think if I could, honestly, I'm going to say I think it stays here. And if I could make them share a spot, I would put Junji Ito and Kill 6 Billion Demons on the same slot, to be perfectly honest. Because of how much of the itch is scratched by everything that Kill 6 Billion Demons is. You know? But, like, I guess you're looking at the legacy of the work and the pioneer, and that slot does not say Abaddon, right? It says Kill 6 Billion, so I go here. But how do you feel?
I guess when I think of Junji Ito, the word that keeps coming to mind to me is like, there is a mastery to Junji Ito. Like, I think obviously there's a lot of stories, some of them are hits, some of them are misses, but at his core as an artist, I really believe he focused on one thing and has mastered it.
I completely agree.
It's hard for me to say that same thing of Dokapon Kingdom.
Okay. We'll follow the logic here. Now the thing is of course, let me just turn this on. I'm getting a little sweaty. I do feel that, like, now I'm talking to an audience of people, especially, that are in tune with the mastery we're describing, right? Mm-hmm. And this is just a matter of, like, to me, it's a mastery of a thing that has an upper limit for me, I think. But I don't know. But as someone who's been alive as long as I have been, I enjoy horror as much as I do. It's not my favorite thing. Horror is not my favorite thing, but it's damn cool. You know?
Damn cool. And I guess what I'm trying to do here is not make it your favorite thing, because that's not going to happen.
No. I want to talk. I want... Because okay. I understand. I can imagine the person who's ripping their headphones off like, it's Junji fucking Ito, man. You know? And I'm like, I know. Right?
Well, look. Okay, the thing there is, like, this list doesn't matter. You know? Like, I
That's
know
true, too.
we make it out to be important, but all this is a representation of how much we enjoy the media. If I am placing Junji Ito here, it's going below Earthbound. It's beating Kamen Rider Gav. But this is the median amount we enjoy both these things. Personally, I think our median amount beats Dokapon Kingdom. For me, I'm where you are with Kamen Rider Gav, that you are with 6 Kill 6 Billion Demons, in that it's drawing with Gav in terms of, I think you like Gav, like tokusatsu stuff, more than I do, but I really, really enjoyed Gav.
Right.
And I like Junji Ito more than you do.
Right.
But you really, really enjoyed it. Like, that seems like the place to me. Now,
that like imagine if you would, like, okay, so imagine, like, what is your least favorite food, or what is a dish that you just don't vibe with?
Anything with mushrooms. Mushroom soup.
Okay, now what if world-renowned 31 Michelin star chef Joël Robuchon, the late great, cooked you a mushroom extravaganza and specialized in that dish?
I'm sure it would be delicious.
Yes, world class, the greatest you will ever experience, within the threshold that you are.
But it might be so good that it might broaden my understanding of mushrooms.
And transcend what you expected of them. This is 100% true. And, you know, when I do cite those things that I did enjoy, like the Peel movies, for example, I'm like, I enjoyed those a lot more than a whole lot of other things. But it is not my main staple that it's not my home that I'll come back to and recommend others come back to, in the same way that the games, survival horror games, are not what I come back to and recommend for others and go crazy on. They're kind of cool novelties, though. But that's just the bit. But I do respect and understand that, and I think based on what your logic is there with the toku and the element of mastery, spot 10 is an absolutely reasonable place for that.
Does that mean it's beating Gav?
Well, if we're taking into account the idea of my love of the subject and your love of the subject, but in this case as well, I'm saying we are taking a specific series into account versus the mastery of the artist himself across his entire career. Right?
Fair.
Single entries tend to not beat the full encompassing of the artist.
At least the fragment of it we have experienced.
At least the fragment experience.
But I get what you're saying. Because I do think it is, like, one of the reasons I think this was so fun to talk about is Junji Ito. You can kind of digest what is great about him in a long afternoon if you want.
And I'll say that the first time I read The Amigara Fault, that stuck in my brain for years. I never stopped thinking about it. And that was the goal of that creepy, story. Like, that's the kind of stuff.
I guess the final thing I want to say on Junji Ito is there is a weird alternate version of Junji Ito where Junji Ito didn't really exist in the early days of, like, the internet. And instead, you would just stumble across the Enigma of Amigara Faults or the first episode of Uzumaki or something like that, and you wouldn't know what the fuck this comic was, where it came from, and it would nearly be more terrifying because of it.
Yeah. The idea of basically he's a master of new fear unlocked. It's that moment of like, you never knew you could be afraid of this brand new concept, but here it is for you, a hole that is shaped like you, that you can never escape from, that will slowly slide forward and horribly mangle you, and there's nothing you can do if you're claustrophobic. It's your worst infinite nightmare, right? That.
Yeah.
There's something to being a master of that, you know?
Worst infinite nightmare is a great phrase, and also how I would describe Neighbor's Window. So, enjoy. Junji Ito, our new number 10. That's crazy. I am so happy you enjoyed that so much, Woolie.
I really did. And I'm gonna say too as well that anytime a recommendation, because there's power in a specific strong, like, it's work, but like the catalog, you know what I mean? Like when we're zooming out,
so what
that's a meteor strike on the pantheon.
There have been things that I've wanted to recommend you, but it's like, shit, I can't because it's too long or there's too much of it. And I will say the selection is an interesting tool. The chocolate box.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because I mean, I was able to do that with Chan-Woo Park, right? Like I didn't, like the trilogy is the trilogy, and that makes perfect sense. But like the selection of a particular creator that gives you the vibe of what's going on here, that allows you to then come into this list with that, you know, being discussed. I think there's power in that. I like that. I think that's cool.
Totally. Well, Woolie, from some of the most horrifying media we've ever experienced to some of the most horrifying media we've ever experienced, your recommend from last month.
Yeah.
Reboot the Guardian Code.
Yeah. I had one last. I was going to say, like,
sorry, go for it.
No, I was just going to say, like, again, I'm just imagining Abaddon just being like, the fuck you mean I'm better than Junji Ito? Shut up. Go fuck yourself, you know. Anyway. So yes, now let's slow this train down, shall we?
Well, I have some things to say, okay?
All
I
right.
have some things to say, my friend.
I have some things to say too.
I want to tell you about my mornings. Every morning, okay? I wake up at 7 a.m. on the dot every morning without fail. I go down and I sit at my kitchen table. I sit there in complete silence for 10 minutes. Once that 10 minutes is complete without a single conscious thought entering my head, I take out my journal and I write about my feelings. Then I take a bowl. I put half a cup of almond milk in it and half a cup of porridge oats. I mix them together. I cook them for 3 minutes and 10 seconds. I then take them out. I stir them. I cook them for another 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Then I add a dollop of Greek yogurt and a portion of frozen blueberries. The Greek yogurt goes on first. The blueberries sit on top of that. After about a minute, you mix it all together. The blueberries must cool down enough so they do not make your porridge cold. I then brew myself a cup of coffee. Right now, I am using a Cambodian mix that I really appreciate. At that point, I enter my sitting room. I sit down, and you know what I have, Woolie? I have 24 minutes carved out where I can watch an episode of anime. 24 minutes of pure, blissful paradise through which I can center myself and get myself right for the rest of the day. Do you know what I had to fill that 24 minutes with for the last several weeks? The fucking Guardian Code.
So you decided to cut this meal up and spread it across the month.
Woolie, no. Buddy, no. You didn't. You didn't. Woolie. Woolie.
I fed a crying baby at 1 a.m., got her bottle. Once she was about satisfied, changed her diaper, right? Good to put her in a nice little warm onesie There's the cute ones that have the little fox boots on them that are kind of cute. And I was like, look at that. They're kind of fun. Got her in her little swaddle, nice and tight, right there. Mom was sleeping. Let her get some deep sleep. Took the baby monitor. Went up to the studio. Sat in the chair. Pressed play on Netflix. And sat there for as many hours as it took until I had to get up and feed the baby again.
So the baby couldn't see the screen.
The baby couldn't see the screen.
Okay, for a second there, I was like, Woolie, what are you going to do if Child Protective Services sees this?
In between feedings of the child and her sleeping, I shotgunned all of Reboot the Guardian Code into my brain.
20 episodes.
2 sittings. 1 season at a time. Straight.
Oh, Woolie.
John, I cannot...
Woolie, I would not even do this to you.
John...
I would not even do this.
I'm not going to mince words here. Okay. I understand that I chose to enter into this. I brought this up, and I said, let's find out what's going on here. The suffering I endured on a spiritual, emotional, and physical level consuming this media has enlightened me to a new level of agony that I didn't know existed inside of me. I was like making noises. There were points where Punch Mom just had to come up and give me a hug. We can get into it, but like the idea of slowing this process down instead of ripping the Band-Aid off is its own kind of slow creeping Junji Ito horror. And I'm just going to take all the damage in one shot. Just fuck my shit up, fam. You know?
So, Woolie, I want to tell you, like, how I look at this TV show.
Yeah.
Okay?
Mm-hmm. You are also, can I say that, like, I'm watching this and I'm thinking about how, like, you're somebody who is like, oh, man, I love watching dumb shit because lol sometimes, right?
No. I have this theory with media, Woolie, that I'm going to call the silent abyss, okay? And that is when people like me and people like you and people who listen to this podcast, okay? We will occasionally say things like, you know, oh, My Hero Academia is bad. Or, like, you know, I'm sure someone out there right now is saying, oh, Hollow Knight Silksong sucks. Or, you know, some X thing is bad. And the reason we think X thing is bad is that we are actually sampling a very, very small and often extremely curated wedge of media. Like, the worst thing you've ever seen probably isn't that bad in comparison to all the things that ever exist. And I'm not talking about ambitious games that go wrong. I'm not talking about stupid shit that is dumb. I'm talking about the dregs. All the fucking TV shows that blink in and out of existence every year. All the mindless children's media, all the corporately created plastic fucking empty shit. That is all the silent abyss of media that when we say something is bad, we are not even taking into account all the shit that lives below the surface. Do you get what I mean?
1000%.
Reboot the Guardian Code is the first time on Versus Wolves we have had a piece of media from the silent abyss.
This show was the single worst experience I have ever had consuming media on within my lifetime. Can I just get there? Can I just start here? Can I just say it?
So here's the thing, Woolie.
The single worst experience.
I agree with you. This is the single worst TV show I have ever watched to completion. This is probably the single worst piece of media I have ever completed. And that is without the lifelong love of Reboot.
Without it. Don't even get into the force multiplier that comes from expectation, right? That comes from crushed dreams and the puppeting of the corpse that is a thing that you beloved, right? Just isolated on its own for what it is. There's truly something special because we don't always talk about it, but there are times where we see a sequel to a game, to a popular thing or so, and there's always, the too many chefs in the kitchen type of feeling. And there's these ideas we have about like what you feel like is when a board of directors just has full control over something and decides to spit something out when there are no creative people involved, right? When there are no artists involved, when you can get rid of everybody, those pesky artists and those pesky creators, when the board of directors can just choose to make the output and make all the money for themselves. This feels like the C-suite are outputting the product. I've never felt it more direct in my life. And I'm going to go ahead and say that is the case because when you see the title screen pop up, Reboot, The Guardian Code, created by Michael Hefferon, the CEO of Rainmaker Studios at the time, the creator who basically took over, and everybody that used to make Reboot, that had any love, anyone that had any creative input or whatever, long gone since then. The person who in interviews described how they wanted to make no one would remember what a dot or an Enzo is anymore, and the person who described how they wanted to make something that their kid could relate to and watch, their son, Austin.
Austin being the main character.
Correct.
Reboot, yeah.
So when you're watching this now and you're taking it in and just when you're getting hit by the car at the intersection, getting up and saying, all right, episode 1, thank you. Episode 2, here we go. And you just get hit again, right? And each time you do, I'm looking at it and listening to every line of dialogue through the lens of this board of directors, C-suite, group of money people are using this to just, whatever, make bank, etc. Reboots and not, you cash in on the name. But you're also going, I'm just going to make a little fan fiction for my kid. And that's all I'm doing here with the name of the thing that I bought, because I money bought it. I bought it. I have it now. So you get these moments where the main character, Austin, turns to the camera and basically goes, my dad created the Guardian Code, as a reveal to something in the plot. And you're like, oh my God, he's talking to his son. That's all this is, right? There's an extra layer of bile that I feel for it's a husk within a corpse, within a zombie. And it's so painful just for being attached in any way, shape, or form, whatever. And then it has the gall to look at you, the fan of Reboot, the person who enjoyed what the franchise was before this and who made the name relevant enough to be worth purchasing, and go, oh, you smelly, stinky, shitty, fat fan in your mom's basement that enjoys all these products.
I believe you are. Look, let's just get to it.
I don't even
Episode
care
10.
about time.
Episode 10. Okay. Episode 10 starts up, and I'm not fucking going. We meet.
This is a world.
User.
This is a world where it. Who cares? A bunch of students go to a school and are on an app, and the app says, "Come to the secret room. You're all superhuman samurai cyber squad code Lyoko members. Jump into the CG world and save the day from the virus." Right? That's been going on. Nothing interesting happens. Who cares? Episode 10.
Episode 10. They restart an old mainframe, and when they do, we cut to I'm just gonna call him White Woolie.
Sure.
The biggest Reboot fan there ever was, and
he's got a shirt with the logo. He's got the walls with all the posters that I have, and the book that I have, and the toys that I have. And he's unshaven, and he's this big old guy, and he's all like, yeah, and he's being the typical sort of like we're jocks making fun of the loser type of depiction. And he goes, "Oh my God, Reboot mainframe is back online after all this time."
I feel bad about the White Woolie. No, I'm sorry, Woolie. I'm sorry. This is too much. I will not go there.
I have all the things that he has in his room when they show you him.
That's not a great argument against, but
but the point is this. Is the guy, he boots it up and it goes, this is the user, essentially, that has been playing all the games in Reboot from the previous franchise, from the previous series. And he's been playing them and loading them up, and he opens up his little Xbox disc, and it's Starship Alcatraz. And he goes, I remember this. And he pops it in. And basically, just the level of bile and vitriol from this franchise, from this shitty, little, tiny person who bought the company that people loved and cares, and rather the things that people cared about. He bought it and he renamed it and then tried to work his business. And there's whatever, you can go watch the video of like partnering up with this toy company and this company and da-da-da-da-da and all these money deals. Wow, media, etc. Oh, now China's buying this part and then this other investor's coming over here. And it like, you took the thing and you are just squeezing blood from the stone, and you're using the name to try and get people excited about it. But the people who you're trying to get excited the whole time you're going, Reboot is getting rebooted, this is how you feel about them. You hate them. You loathe them. You cannot fucking stand the existence of the person who's a fan of the show that you're trying to resurrect and remarket, right? And you're trying to get some new kids as well who don't give a fuck about the name Reboot and don't care. You're trying to get them on board for something or whatever. But go on to discover, by the way, while this episode is showing this character being like a big loser who's yelling at his mom while he's playing the game, and he loses the game again because that's all he is. He's a big, dumb, fat loser that likes Reboot, right? And people who have reached out to me that worked at the studio are also beloved fans of the series, of what it used to be, and are basically depressed and sad while they're working on this bullshit. And the studio and the energy at it, and everyone is aware of and felt it as it was happening. So this whole fuck you people who love, fuck you fans of Reboot, and like energy in this episode, is not just aimed at people that enjoyed that old series. It's also the people you're currently hiring to make the new one. Mm-hmm. It's so fucking insulting, degrading, just absolutely batshit. And it would be all of that even if this new franchise had anything, an ounce of a single thing worth salvaging or saying, hey, that was a kind of cool idea.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think there is any shred of value in this thing.
There is not one shred of anything worth saving anywhere in this entire series.
So I really, whenever I watch like a really bad piece of media, I always, to me, it's a kind of exercise to be like,
find
okay,
the one.
What is there like a little shred of hope in here? And I do actually have one small thing. I thought the actress who played Vera was trying very hard.
I'm not going to have a lot of nice things to say about the kids playing the roles in this show. I thought without being excessively mean, because I don't know whatever their careers have gone on to be or so.
They're all in their late 20s now.
This is some of the flattest, driest, most cardboard ass.
Bash Tagger. That's what the sport dude says.
No, hold on. Every episode, we got to hear the sequence. What the fuck was it? Zipboard, stealth glider, quadradisc, turbojets, decoder, bash tagger. Every episode, you got to hear them yelling it out because we got to sell some toys that don't exist, right?
Yeah, there was a really interesting bit. I think it was like in the second episode where one of them comes out of a bathroom. And the bathroom just has a sign on it, and it just says gender neutral bathroom.
It sure does. And
I was like, "What the fuck?"
And the camera lingers.
Yeah, it lingers, and I was like, "Oh, are we doing something here? Like, is this? Are we going? That would be interesting." And of course we do not. And so I just had this like image in the boardroom where the guy is like, "Oh, and because it's 2018." And people are still care about diversity, we'll have a gender-neutral bathroom. And then one of the writers is like, "Oh, is one of the kids going to be, like, queer or something?" And the CEO turns around and he's like, "Oh, fuck no!"
Make no mistake. The camera will linger to say that just for that first episode, just to let people know, hey, guys, we're cool. We're hip with it, everybody, right? It's Harry Dubois in Disco Elysium tapping on the magazine with the two girls kissing, going, "I like this. Very futuristic." That's all it is, right? It's the fucking husk of the C-suite going, "We got to let the kids know. We got to signal to them that, hey, we're down with it too." No, I'm sorry, but for all the horrible flat cardboard ass Home Depot acting in this thing, Vera, who plays the robot girl, who's trying to do a robot girl thing, has a robot girl voice that sounds like it can be like a Siri type thing, sure, but the moment I see her do the little head jerk and which is the sound, that's me doing a computer thing. There's a million ways to interpret a person or to depict a person connecting to a network as a human being outside of the network. And what they decided to go with is, I'm going to give myself a quadruple chin. I'm going to make that like that Ego Raptor face and just kind of tilt my head a bit and go, and that's me going online. Never mind the fact that they don't want to show you her CG body more than once ever in the series ever because of how terrible it looked.
Yeah, I think it was one of the better looking things in the series.
I thought it looked like a. I was like,
both our statements can exist, Woolie.
John, how do you feel? How compelling is an unwashed, greasy man in an empty warehouse typing and talking to himself for 19 episodes of a 20-episode series? How compelling of a villain do you find that to be?
Well, it's more like looking into a mirror than anything. Look, I love shitty villains. I love cornball shit. Even there was just okay. The most interesting thing about the sorcerer was that one episode where he ate cockroaches.
But that's the only thing he did. It was a moment of like, okay, so what he does is he gets in front of his computer and he goes, "We're hacking the internets, all of them."
And like,
right?
It's so insane because like one episode he's like, "I have hacked into this children's toy," and then the next episode it's, "Oh no, the sorcerer has stolen the codes to nuclear warheads."
It's the next episode. right? It's literally like Megabyte helps him steal. He hacks into a Wi-Fi toy, a bee, and then one episode later, he's nuking the Earth. And they have to stop him before he can do that. And literally, like, at some point, he goes like, you see, like, there's a moment of a newscaster going, children are getting frightened by these toys that are going out of control. And the sorcerer goes,
yeah, and it's like they eventually like give an explanation for it. How soon did you cop the twist?
I mean, like I'd say
immediately,
like seconds, man.
Yep,
like the moment they show you like the grave, and they show you like some of the scenes of like the past, but it's like never elaborating, never showing you a picture, never getting into detail. Of course, man. What else?
The sorcerer is Austin's dad.
Oh my god! Episode 19 twist.
I thought then you find out that it was Austin's dad who went into cyberspace and got infected with a virus. For 1 second, I thought that the virus was going to touch him in episode 20 and be like, I am Damon. Like, I thought...
but you misunderstand how much vitriol and hatred they have for that old franchise, right? They could not stand to show you Dot's Diner in the background of that random episode. You see, they cut to a shot of Megabyte, who the sorcerer is reaching in to mainframe, and you see Megabyte there, and so the sorcerer is like, he's basically Emperor Palpatine's, right? And goes, you work for me now, and he converts him into his new form because, again, loathing for the old franchise. We have to change this up to be a new thing, right? Also, it's too violent if you have claws, so here's this little energy scepter. Because we can't be showing the kids fighting each other with claws and punches. So you have to hold this energy scepter and use that to zap things from a distance now.
I thought the voice actor did like an okay impersonation of Megabyte. But this is Megabyte after like a really bad breakup.
You are not Tony J.
No.
You are not. The first thing Megabyte does is then you see Frisket, the dog, walking in the distance, and then he zaps his thing, and Frisket goes and runs away, and it's like, fuck you, old Reboot. You know? There's so much bile and venom. And then, right, you get whatever halfway through, and then, hey, look, we're gonna go back and we're gonna show you there's Dot, there's Enzo, there's Bob, they're inside the computer. There's the hexadecimal who's alive. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. Don't ask. Shut up. There she is. She's around. And like, there's that moment where you're like, oh, okay. And they got Shirley Milner. So she's voicing hexadecimal. It is Hex. And she's incredible. She's still incredible.
She's good. She's good.
Right?
She got nothing to work with. But she's good.
But they get her in there and they shove the corpse of this character into this thing. And immediately you're like, for that moment that you're like, oh God, okay, she's still good. You have them that all of a sudden they start showing you Hex's face where they're too lazy to do the mask switch thing because it's too much work. So they just have her face stuck in mask position and then snap to the next mask, right? Mm-hmm. And a big like clever thing they did back in the day was have the character switch her emotions, right, as she would flip her hand across and change mask. It was
or cut it, like just do a cut and she's a different face.
But instead now they're like, we're not. What? No, that's fuck that. We're not taking the time. So they have her doing that, right? And it feels like, so that first episode, she's all just doing, her mask is just snapping into the emotions where you're like, you don't even understand how to do the thing properly. And then it feels like they almost got a note because the next time she shows up, she does it, right? She starts switching the masks with her hands for one scene. And then the third time till the end, they're back to just being like, too much work. We tried. We need her holding a weapon and we can't figure out how to do this face thing. So never mind that. We're trying to get home at 5 o'clock. Stop it. You know? I have and when you talk about things that are potentially salvageable or whatever, you're like, no, like all I see is the derivative things. I see the derivative Tron outfits that like didn't come from you. They came from other things you were watched and inspired by, right? I loved and now hate the existence of the in the suit Iron Man camera.
Oh yeah, no, that was like, okay, this thing is fashionable. Let's put that in this.
The fucking Jarvis cam.
I always think that those shots look like garbage in movies. I always think they look so bad, and they look so bad in this.
I thought it was a clever, cool thing to do with Iron Man in the original movies, because I was like, oh, that's a cool way of like, I know sometimes actors don't want to put the helmet on unless you're a cool guy like in Dredd, where you're like, nah, fuck that. The character keeps the helmet on. Respect. But sometimes you just want to do this thing where it's like, it's in a suit performance or whatever the case is. I thought that was a nice compromise in doing a thing of like, oh, here's a close-up on Tony Stark as he's in there. And it was original, right? An original way to do that. I thought it was implemented well in the Iron Man movies, right? And in Avengers and stuff. And then you just see the board of directors that has not an ounce of creativity in their body going, the kids will like it because it's like the movie I watched with the kids. And so now everybody has the Iron Man camera with the little Reboot logo. Oh, God, the Reboot logo. Oh, my God, John. Oh, God. The desecration of this fucking logo. It's in the corner of every shot. It's on the bottom of every ship. It's on the wall of every background. It's on the desktop of every computer. It's on the button of every keyboard item. It's almost in the iris of Megabyte when he's rebooted into his new bullshit form. This logo means nothing anymore. It means it has no significance. It means nothing. It is just kids know, the people recognize that. They'll see it and they'll go, ah! I clap when I see it. That's all it's.
Okay, Woolie, I want to calm you down with a question. How did you feel every time a character said to mend and defend?
They go into a game at one point in that episode 10. Hey, look, everybody, it's the old characters you love, right? And the new Guardians find themselves in a game with Bob. There is not an ounce of creativity anywhere in this show, and I seriously mean that, because there's a moment where they go into a game. By the way, there's no games in the whole show. There's this one where they go back, and there's one moment in the old mainframe where they're inside of one. And it's Alcatraz. So they could have, first of all, made any game, but they didn't. They went back to the one, and they're like, see, right? Also, we couldn't come up with a brand new one if we had to. Like, don't make us try, please. And, like, by the way, they could have, like, literally the whole game that is the app that they're supposed to be good at to become these Guardians. They never show you what the game is.
That disappears immediately.
You have no idea what the deal is. So you see them go into this thing, and there's a chance for them to be like, oh, this is how it works. We reboot into a different format, and then we go and you could have had a moment of them almost being like, let's see what these new characters would look like rebooted into a game. And then they try, and they can't, because they're like, our suits don't work that way. We can't reboot. We don't know. And Bob goes, are you sure you're Guardians? And he's like, yeah, new kind of Guardian. But, like, you set yourself up for a moment where you could have done something creative, but you're incapable of delivering anything creative. So then you just, like, farted your way out of the own scene, insulting yourself and having your characters go, yeah, we don't know how to do it.
I agree. You can't reboot.
Did you, by any chance, notice the music in every episode and the random Kids Bop tunes?
What is going on with the fucking outros?
I figured it out, John.
Okay, so hang on. To tee people up a little bit, every episode ends with a different sound. Now, I know it's not because this was 2018. It sounds like AI music. It sounds like generate a pop song.
And they're all just these different random pop songs that sound, yes, like they're generated. And just like, you're like, what's going on here? Is this a psyop? Like, it's strange. And music that's not in the actual episode. Like, 1 or 2 episodes, they use a song in the show, and then you hear it at the credits. But most episodes, it's a completely random song that had nothing to do with anything, and you hear it. And I go, oh, wait, no. I think I know immediately what this is. This is, because you what you have to do is you have to think like a board of directors. What does a board of directors do? Right? Can we create an intro with a whole set? No, we don't have time for that, right? That's too expensive, and kids are going to be bored. Just show the logo and go, blah, the Guardian Code. Okay, but what about the outros? We got to put the credits up. I guess we have to thank the people that worked on this show. Fine, it's going to take some time. We need music to play here. Should we just play a theme song? There is no theme song. We never made an intro. There's no theme song. Okay, what do? Well, I'm on the C-suite, and someone that I'm cousins with or a friend of mine has a recording studio or an artist that I'm signing that I could use a push for this track because we got to push it and get the word out there. So I go back to the credits of each of those episodes, and I start going, no. Something's up here. And I look at the first artist, and the first artist is a random artist, and the second artist is a random artist, and the third, I'm like, no. What else is going on? Every single one of the tracks that play at the end of the credits is represented by Simkin Artist Management. Some company called Simkin Artist Management is basically like, we're trying to push our artists here. We hear you got one of these shows. How about you stick one of our songs on at random at the credits of each episode, and we push that, and then that's how we get this. We get the you grease my palms like right. Fucking what was it? Greg Streets or whatever from the from the ads earlier in this episode, right? Just. They're all working with some other random music artist local thing. And of course, it's a Vancouver-based music artist management thing. And they're paying to get random songs off of their label put in the credits. Every episode is a different song. That's it. That's all. That's the only reason why.
I'm so tired, Woolie.
It's just greased palms and sideways advertising. It's soulless. So there's nothing else to it.
If someone said to me, like, okay, is this good? I'd be like, no, it's not good. And they'd be like, so it's bad. And I'd be like, it's not that it's bad. It's that it's empty. Like, this show does not take the shots to be bad. You know? Like... And like, Woolie, earlier when you said, like, oh shit, but John loves corny shit or like loves bullshit or whatever. Here's the thing, right? I need someone to be going for it. Like, I need someone to be doing things that are wild and stupid and interesting. This show is a million miles from that. Like, every episode is the same, right? The characters have a personal problem. Then that story pauses, they go into cyberspace and have, I swear to God, the same fucking action sequence of fighting these robots every episode.
Yep.
And then the story unpauses and it's resolved for no reason. That is every episode.
Yeah, so after that previously aforementioned nuke disaster was averted, the next crisis is Social Media City. I swear to God, the name Social Media City. Fuck me.
Yep.
Right, and like they have to solve the social media problems that the kids are going through or whatever. And yes, you see the little binomes that they're called fighting each other, and the same shot of the same ones fighting, getting shot, and then falling over and getting deleted. Because again, they have to fill time. They gotta fill fucking time. Just like it takes them 10 seconds, 15 seconds of stock footage to jump off the ship and call their jet gliders away or whatever. And all of that is going over. The problems get solved for no reason. And then, yay, friends will go out for pizza. The thing about this show that I felt was the worst crime of all of it, right? Puppeting the corpse of the thing I loved, all that stuff. Yeah. The worst part about all of this is that by the end, in the entire thing across 20 episodes, it has nothing to say.
No.
It has nothing to say about anything. There are no opinions to share. There are no feelings about the world to communicate. There are no emotions to convey. It has nothing to say.
Even like the entire show, like the main character Austin, his dad is dead. And by the way, I just think it's amazing how his mom in every scene is wearing what I call like my husband is dead flannel, you know, just every single. But like, and so then like, okay, his dad's the sorcerer and he saves his dad, and then his dad has to sacrifice himself. And I was like, okay, maybe have we kind of hit a sometimes you lose people and you have to let them go. And it's like, have we maybe eked out a just atom of meaning here? And then Austin's immediately like, but I bet he is out there somewhere in cyberspace. And it's like, okay, no, we're...
And I'm going to find him in season 3 that
literally,
no.
we pissed away any meaning for a empty punt at season 3.
That's it.
That's never happened.
You know, there's a part of it where you're like, someone might look at this and go, now hold on a minute, y'all. This thing says Y7, so it's for children. Therefore, you know, the fact that it's this dumbed down means you shouldn't be comparing it to Reboot. You should be comparing it to Paw Patrol. And it's like, fucking original Reboot was Y7 as well. And that became what it became. Like,
also, like, I never subscribe to the it's for kids shit. Good writing is good writing. Bad writing is bad writing.
Thank you. It doesn't matter.
That's such a horseshit justification of anything.
It doesn't fucking matter. But you know who would make that? Whatever. Anyway, somebody on a C-suite that doesn't understand how these things work will just be like, oh, it's not for you. It's for kids younger than you. You don't get it. And it's like, no, you fucking... Anyways,
well, no, they would be like, look, fuck you, we made this to make money, to which we could respond, how much money did you make?
Did you?
How'd that go?
Yeah. There's a clip. I want to pull this out. And I feel like this could get its usage, you know, out there in isolation. But it's just like a dramatic cut where, you know, almost like when light bites into the chip. Right? There's a dramatic shot of the sorcerer. My God, they could have called it Source with a U and they didn't. They could have even tried to be a little more clever about the name and have it be code related, but they didn't have that in them. Anyway, he leans up and he goes, "It's time for my next hack. The internet isn't safe. It's vulnerable." And I'm like, please, let's isolate this and let's use it where we need to, in reaction, in moments. I just want that little piece, you know, season 2, episode 2, 2 minutes into the show. It's, there's also, you want to talk about like how, you know, when you shoot on a shooting schedule in a script where you kind of block things together in locations and you don't shoot chronologically, right? And because it doesn't make sense to do that. There's a more logical and cost efficient way to do things. You can see where there are moments here where they don't understand that because scenes just have to happen next to each other. So we need a scene of Vector and Googs, as you know, he's Googs because he's the Google nerdy one, right? Hanging out with each other.
I was constantly I just heard that and I was like, well, that sounds like a slur, but okay.
We need them hanging out with each other, testing out his new drone. So they're testing out the new drone and they're playing with it going, wow, yeah, look at the range and all that stuff. Isn't that interesting? Okay, cool. But the next scene needs to be Austin looking at his dad's grave and reflecting on the grave, you know? Which, again, I'm just imagining the fucking the CEO man just being like, and then I'm dead, but from beyond the grave, my son is like, oh, I'm going to remember you, Dad. What do what is right and you'll do no wrong. Anyway, they test...
That is such a shit phrase. It doesn't mean anything, and they say it so many times. I'm sorry, Woolie.
they're testing out the drone and they have the, yeah, wow, that's cool. And then Austin turns from the drone to the right and the grave is right there. So they were doing the activity scene right next to the grave so that they could have the moment go from one right to the other without having to worry about changing locations or whatever, you know? I don't know if I don't know if there's a single moment of art shown here that wasn't derived from something else, whether it's that Tony Stark shot, whether it's the Tron outfits, whether it's the Code Lyoko ass jumping into your thing or your Digiworld, whatever. They, at one point when they go into the deep web, you just see the red space color grading show up and you're like, oh yeah, someone played Mass Effect, right? Oh, okay, cool. And the ship as well. You're just like, yeah, okay, no, BioWare, got it. Mm-hmm. Science fiction, yeah. We watched the movies too. Well aware. There's not an ounce of anything original going on with a design, with a character, with anything. You know, it has nothing to say, and you want to think of like movie OS. You know, whenever you see it in a movie where they're like hacking complete or whatever, this depiction of movie OS, it assumes you don't understand what a calculator is. Like, it assumes the viewer doesn't know anything about the screen in front of them, and also there's no such thing as a mouse. Computers are only typing on keyboards, being huge nerds, right? Although although the rest of the team, the jock and the blogger and all that, they're going to this Alan Turing High, which is a big high-tech school, but none of them seem to know anything about tech, and they're just archetypes from other schools shoved into like, this location.
Tamara, the girl, like, has no story. Like, the story is that she's a blogger, and like she doesn't even get the subplots. Like, Woolie, I need to say something that we've been doing this podcast for nearly 2 years, and I've never said this during any segment we've ever done. I don't want to talk about this anymore. I am aware that is antithetical to the podcast format, but there's nothing here, buddy.
I mean,
we took the plunge together, and there's nothing.
Like, like, there's parts of it where I'm like, this is beyond self-parody. I've made jokes about the person on the keyboard that goes, I'm in. Right? Like, I've made that joke on stream and it unironically happens. Like, he types and looks up and goes, and we're in. Yeah, like,
when you said about like the little piece of movie graphics, like the hacking, I feel like this TV show is like you took that one graphic and blew it out into two entire series with the same amount of thought.
Like, there's a part where evil, rude Siri is being mean to everyone, and that's the biggest problem of the episode. And then the main character's mom almost dies in a car accident because rude Siri just takes over the car. And then the AI is like, and then the characters and AI are like, no, but technology though. Don't give up.
Woolie, no. It's not technology. It's AI. That is a pro AI episode. And look, I don't want to get too conspiratorial here. I've been doing a lot of research into AI. I recently read the book Supremacy, and it was a horrifying read. And AI is currently the thing that big tech has. AI is what is going to decide fucking so much shit from here on in, and I don't mean that in a good way. But I bring it up because I genuinely believe that these massive super PACs, they put money into media that they feel like promotes their shit. And all I'm saying is I would not be surprised if they're, what's that? A TV show about the internet? Yeah, make them do a episode on how someone is reluctant about AI and then comes around at the end. Because the conclusion of this episode is, no, AI can make your life much better.
Please give it another chance. Again, the board of directors has something to say about what you should be giving a chance to, because they have diversified their portfolios to also invest in the word AI, and multiple businesses have now put that word in their title. So please, consumer, don't say no.
At the very least, they heard that there was an anti-AI episode and were like, "Oh no, can we fix that at the end?" So everything like.
And the animators that they're working with are like about to get fired so that they can be replaced with AI generated shit for this, you know? And it's like, yeah, no, that's it. All right. I've got my money in 3 things. I've got it in mainframe Rainmaker Studios. I've got it in AI, and I've got it in SimKim music artist management. God damn it.
Okay. This show doesn't deserve any more of our time. If there's any final thoughts, Woolie, now is time for them. Here's mine. This is nothing. Nothing happened here. Nothing happened for 20 episodes, for 2 seasons. Nothing.
John, as we move on to the next segment, I'm going to need you to convince me why Silent Hill Ascension should not sit above this. Convince me why the Valley of the Wretched should not be held up by the doorstop that is the Guardian Code.
Okay, I will address both your questions. Number 1, I can't believe I'm saying this. The Guardian Code made me reconcile with the fact that there was parts of Silent Hill Ascension I enjoyed. I watched an orgy happen, Woolie. I watched a bunch of people have sex with each other because they thought it would make a missing girl reappear. That's so stupid. But it's more entertaining than anything that happened in this show. So if you are asking me for a reason that Silent Hill Ascension is worse than the Guardian Code, I've got none for you, buddy. I've got none. I can think of other things I kinda liked about Silent Hill Ascension. It's garbage, but there's some silly enjoyment in there. There is nothing to be here. Now, as for your second question, Woolie, what was it? What did you say? That the Valley of the Wretched be upheld? How did you put it?
What reason should there be for the Valley of the Wretched to not be upheld by Reboot the Guardian Code?
Because it's not good enough. Reboot the Guardian Code is not good enough for the Valley of the Wretched, Woolie. The Valley of the Wretched containing Silent Hill Ascension, Omicron, Missing a Fighting Game Tournament, Sexy Hiking, and every Leprechaun movie. Reboot the Guardian Code does not belong in a zone with those pieces of media.
Let them cook.
Let them cook, Woolie.
You're cooking.
It needs a new zone. The Silent Abyss. Your new number 36 Reboot Guardian Code. In your new zone, the Silent Abyss.
A power gap was required. That's incredible. I remember having a thought, because I didn't even remember Silent Hill Ascension. I remember there was a moment in somewhere in the middle of the second season or so where I was like, Omicron the Nomad Soul did have David Bowie, and it did attempt to do a brand new thing.
I had the exact same... Woolie, David Bowie sings a song at the end of that game.
Yeah. And it attempted to do a new thing that had not been done. The game, the absolute nightmarish, suffering hellhole of a piece of shit game, attempted to do something brand new. I had that thought while watching this.
Woolie, becoming a space ghost, possessing a man, and then immediately having sex with his wife in a game that takes itself seriously is funny. It's not intentionally funny, but it's funny. There's nothing like that in the Guardian Code. I genuinely never thought anything would slot lower than Silent Hill Ascension. Silent Hill Ascension had some good moments. There's some fun bits. I liked the Oogly Boogler.
I didn't think so either. I didn't think so, but there we go. There we go. This list is getting interesting. I'm not going to recover from the psyche damage done this month. It's going to take some time.
There was genuinely moments where I was watching this and I was like, oh, Woolie just had a kid. He doesn't need this.
When I saw Foxcade the other day, and I was talking about his reboot video, that he did, and I remember there's a point where it's kind of like, oh, so yeah, I came in for the teaser at the end of your video essay saying you don't need to do this, and he's like, sorry, got to do it, Woolie, and I was like, yeah, did you ever? And he's like, nope. I never got to it. He never made that part 2, the Guardian Code video.
And I think he has watched it.
So I was like, wow. Even there, it just never came to be. He heeded my warning in the video. All right.
Okay. I am ready to move on from that.
Far.
Worst thing we have ever experienced in Versus Wolves. Okay. Recommend or die.
Recommend or die.
Okay, Woolie. How are we feeling? Good? Do we at least feel good that we got that out of our system?
It was so nauseating that it changed what's about to happen next.
Oh.
Go. Let's go.
Okay. Woolie, I told you that we're on a little horror kick.
Yeah.
And it's Halloween this month. And so I wanted to recommend you something a little different. Less so a piece of media, and more so a media platter.
Okay. I thought you were about to say go out trick-or-treating. I was like, what? Yeah. All right.
So you already have your little DLC.
We got the DLC.
Neighbor's Window, Junji Ito. But the main course...
I'm going to come back like, wait, John, I thought you told me to stare through my neighbor's window. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Woolie, do you know what I think might be my favorite film of all time?
Space Jam?
No. Close. It's up there.
Okay.
But no.
Okay.
I can actually probably tell you what position. I wrote a list of my 100 favorite films the other day. It's Stanley Kubrick's The Shining.
Oh. That's a good... okay. Yeah. Solid.
Well, your recommendation this month is to watch Stanley Kubrick's The Shining.
Combo breaker?
No, of course not. We've done this dance before, Woolie. It's not just to watch the Stanley Kubrick.
Oh, the TV movie! The TV movie! The one that Stephen King was... Wow, I've never watched it. Okay, yeah.
You are in for a treat, my friend.
The other Shining.
So, okay, The TV movie is a 2-part movie. I think both parts together, it's about 2.5, 3 hours.
Okay.
Look, I'm gonna be really direct with you, Woolie. I love both these movies for different reasons, but I am sending you into the Stephen King movie with a mission.
Okay.
I want you to pick out 3 parts from the Stephen King movie you like better than the Stanley Kubrick version.
3.
3.
That's high. Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And again, Stephen King hates the original Jack Nicholson.
I have never been able to source this quote, but the quote I read about Stephen King, and the only reason I use it is because it does really sound like something he would say. I have read a lot of Stephen King, is he describes Stanley Kubrick's The Shining as a film that was made to hurt people.
Okay, well that doesn't exactly mean the same thing now, does it?
No.
Okay.
So,
all right.
You feeling good?
Okay. Yeah, that's
we're not done. We're not done.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, like, I didn't expect that. That's yeah.
We have one more piece of media for this little platter, and it's not The Shining book. I am not going to put that on you. I think The Shining book is great. I love it. It's probably a little heavy for what you're dealing with right now.
Well, the only other thing, I'm like, wasn't there like a Stand TV show, I think? I'm not sure. Anyway.
Woolie, I am recommending you the documentary Room 237.
Okay.
Do you know anything about this documentary, Woolie?
Not at all. 0. First time hearing of it.
I'm not saying anything, but hold on to your fucking butt.
Okay.
So the order I would like you to experience these, Woolie, is number 1, Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. Number 2, the 2-part TV special directed by Stephen King.
Rewatch Kubrick's Shining. Okay.
Rewatch is critical. I am also going to rewatch all these things.
Okay.
And number 3, the documentary 237. And the reason I'm recommending you all these, Woolie, is I love horror. And one of the reasons I am so in love with horror is that there is so many ways to interpret a piece of horror. And oh boy, are you about to find out how true that is in so many different ways. And when you're making your way through this, I just want you to keep that word in mind.
Interesting.
Interpretation.
Okay.
That's your recommend.
All right. I mean, because as someone that, like, I love The Shining, but...
Me too.
Yeah, all right. Well, I guess we'll see where we're going. And, I mean, Kubrick's fucking Kubrick, but... Okay. Interesting. So... there was a point in time where... I was originally looking at this as, like, okay, I made sure that a couple, months ago, I wanted you to experience Reboot. And I said, I've been trying to think about how you should experience that. And then you got there, right? And it took a little extra time, but we gave it its proper due. And we did the full discussion. And then I said, all right, but let's give this other part of it a shot, right? To go beyond. This was not the new Berserk. This was not. Whoo! Yeah.
I mean, like, look,
right.
we didn't like New Berserk that much. It was not this.
And, like, there was a little bit of a feeling of, like, inside of me, which is to be a Reboot fan is to know suffering. And in order to share that suffering, it was part of this was to come to understand what was going on here. But the true trifecta would have been, and now it's time for you to play Reboot, right? but that is, at this juncture, a fucked up thing to do.
Woolie, look, I get that you're swerving away, but you know, you are teetering on Vengeance Era 2.0 with this shit. I tanked Guardian Code. I did it for you. I did it out of friendship. I did it out of solidarity, Woolie. You're out of solidarity.
I just wanted to clear the air for what was floating.
Okay. I understand. Understand that's not what you're doing, Woolie.
We can't move on. We can't move on from Reboot until the air is clear. So I'm just clearing the air. That's it. That's all.
Okay. That's a fucked up thing you just tried to do.
Right? Could you imagine though? Because you must have seen. You must be aware.
Woolie, get that fucking glint out of your eye.
Viewer, listener, audience member, the first solo LP I've ever done was Woolie Versus Reboot back on the old Super Best Friends channel. And there are more than one ways that a Reboot fan can suffer. Right? Okay.
Right.
That's not what's happening here. Because
I cannot believe you were going to do that. Like that was ever on the cards is fucked up.
But the thing is that the Guardian Code is like, that was such an unknown variable that like we just can't even, like I was not prepared for the nothing that was nothing. Nothing, like it shocked me to my core.
Yeah, dude, I had the pistol and I was gonna shoot you, and then I was like, man, it's like that's you right now. Do you understand that?
I just wanted to lay all the cards on the table. Right?
Okay, and now that's never happening. Right?
No, of course not. Kites. Run the wolves.
Run the wolves. Yeah.
Hey, John, have you ever seen the Boondocks?
I have wanted to watch the Boondocks for years. Are you fucking serious?
It's time to watch the fucking Boondocks, baby.
Yes! Oh, yeah! Woo! Oh, hell yeah! Oh my god! Damn, dude, that's such a good pick. I've seen one episode ever, loved it, never watched more. I cannot wait to watch The Shining versus the Boondocks.
The Boondocks in 2025 is going to be wild, by the way. Wild. Super not ready for this fucking rewatch right here.
Okay, I am so excited. How many episodes are we talking?
You can watch season 1. I mean, there's 3. There's a 4th that we don't talk about. There's a 4th season that we don't talk about, but season 1's fine, right? I think that's fine.
Okay, I'll start with season 1. I'll see how far I get by next episode. And
yeah. There's some cool shit that happens beyond, but like, as far as the discussion goes, like that's a healthy dose right there. And that's another thing that we could always revisit, come back into the future. But like, all right. I mean,
the Reboot game, dude, seriously?
I would not. I'm saying that I didn't. All right?
Do you think that I watched that fucking LP and that someday I would be, what if Woolie makes me play? Jesus.
We did not go there.
Boondocks, great pick. Very excited.
Next episode. The Boondocks versus
The Shining.
Experience?
I don't know how we rank that. We'll figure it out then. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for watching another episode of Versus Wolves. We love you. Tell them you love them, Woolie.
They know.
No, you gotta tell them.
I don't. I love that baby over there. You don't matter at all. That's the only thing that matters.